Hello, friends. We're here. It's a new season. It's season 11. And yeah, somebody put us in charge. I don't know how or why that happened. Apparently.
I'm very dramatically lit. I don't know. We have really high production values.
Yeah. No, not really. This is going to be a preview stream for, or preview, whatever, for Div 1 and 2A. Before things get kicked off in REL this season. We're likely to do some format changes in the coming weeks. But since I was at PAX this weekend and this was kind of planned yesterday, I didn't have time to go through and do any of the fancy stream things that I want to get done. So we may be changing the format for later weeks, but for now we're going to continue with what our last season's format was for this first sort of preview thing. Although there is a sword in the background now. That's a new thing. I don't know if you can see it. A little bit.
There's a kitty in the background, more importantly.
That is true. I feel like I'm too high in the camera. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to... Our regular format, if you haven't seen us, is normally we take a look at, like... we alternate weeks between looking at the teams sort of more in depth and then looking at a match from each of the two divs that we cover in slightly more depth. When we look at matches, we try to get to everybody at least once, but that can't always happen because near the end of the season, we'll start to switch to games that have playoff relevance. Although in Div 1 and 2, we're likely to have a lot of games that have playoff relevance because there's a lot of tickets for Div 1 and 2. And we'd preview matches, make some predictions, try to keep track of who's been right and who's been wrong in predictions. But since the division hasn't started yet, there is clearly no match predictions that we can do. So this might be a bit shorter form than normal, but that's okay.
We'll make up for it by being as loquacious as usual.
Anyway, now that we're done chatting about nonsense, do we want to start this thing?
Yeah, let's switch to the more serious topic of chatting about fantasy football.
Yeah, exactly. Zoop. This is since we don't have any schedules yet, we can't exactly do any predictions or look at any results, but what we can do is talk about the teams that are currently in this Div 1. So shall we start with not an anime sports team and ArchXL?
Yeah.
The ever-present not an anime sports team, the ever-present really high TV, high elf team that's taken a bit of damage recently.
It's still beautiful.
It is still beautiful. Maybe Girls in Panzer. They're all animes. I get some of the references, but I am not an animu, so I'm not going to get many of them.
It's okay. I'll pick up what you're not quite getting.
Yeah, so there's two blitzers here. One is built as Sacker with strength, and that's incredible. Leap, dodge, strength, strip ball. So he's blodge, but also leap and strip ball. I mean, he's a war dancer at strength 4, which is funny because it took him like several skills to get there. But that's the nature of war dancers, I guess. And then another one who's more defensive oriented with diving, tackle, sidestep, and blodge. So I guess they're both defensive oriented, but one more positional and one more ball sacking. The thrower is not incredible. I mean, he's good, certainly, but he's not near the level as most of the rest of this team. Plus movement is great on a high elf thrower.
How dare he only have plus movement?
I know, right? I mean, high elves are slow. That's kind of one of their weaknesses. So plus movements, especially in the thrower.
But he's got leap, which is kind of like extra movement. You know, he's navigating that low movement value by getting leap on his fastest player, so he can just hop over. He's got leap on 3 players.
Yeah. The thrower has pass, or the thrower just only has plus movement, so that's all he's got so far. But he'll get there. What's that? Is it just an MNG? I hope so. It is, yeah. So he'll be back. Then these catchers, high elf catchers, have incredible stat lines, 8, 3, 4, 7. And this one is the ball carrier with leap, sure hands, agi 5. So once you've stripped that ball, you just jump this guy on it, and who cares? Like, it's agi 5 sure hands. Doesn't really matter. And then, like you said, another leap.
The movement bust on the catcher really sucks. But I mean, at strength 4, wrestle, tackle, leap, you're not really. I mean, you're certainly not considering sacking it. It's still a hell of.
Yeah. Another sort of sacker, if that other blitzer isn't around, not strip ball, but wrestle instead. So you have two options, I guess, to go after players. And there's a surfer. Not a thing you see very often, but it's kind of cool that you can do this with high elf teams because their catchers are strength 3. You can build them as blitzers if you get the right skills, and this guy went block, frenzy, and sidestep to be the surfing threat, which is kind of interesting. And then, line elves, they've got some stuff, although one in particular is kind of nice.
I like that fun fact. ArchXL has lost more throwers than any active team in REBBL has lost of any single position.
That's a good fact to keep in mind.
Yep.
Well, he must be playing aggressively with them if they keep dying. I don't know.
I mean, at this point, he's either putting like a catcher or a thrower. I guess he probably puts the Raj lineman on the line. But yeah, his LOS is a little.
I mean, it's Raj lineman, wrestle lineman, and blank lineman probably, because we have movement blodge guard lineman, also incredible.
It's not uncommon for elf teams to throw a thrower on the LOS while they're still developing them, because they're basically going to be they're so easy to develop. They will just say, if you survive the first few games and can get a level or two, I'll stop making you line fodder, you poor overpriced line elf.
Yeah. This catcher is gonna get something. I don't know if that's doubles or not, but it's probably just going to be dodge unless it's doubles. I mean, they need some way to stay on their feet, and it turns out dodge is, you can take it. It's basically the same as block if you're getting hit, and it also lets you take advantage of dodges with Edgy 4 without having to spend a reroll.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to pick up Mighty Blow on still not Eye Shield 21.
Yeah, it helps you. Mighty Blow on elves helps you win those other elf matchups, certainly. Even just one is pretty good.
Yeah, and killer pro or high elf catchers are really disgusting because of their stat line. Their turns out movement 8, strength 3 is really.
Shall we move to Kix 96 and the Ace Trucking Co? I have played these guys before personally.
Me too. They murdered my lizards.
Excellent. Chorfs. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Let's move on.
Although they're in a weird order. Put your players in order, man. Okay. So let's start with the. I hate this. Okay, let's start with the Chorf blockers. They're all in the wrong order. Okay, so we've got some pretty standard Chorf leveling for the most part. You take Mighty Blow or Guard first in some order, and then if they roll doubles, you take Claw. So you get players like 9ball with. He just took Claw first because he was lucky and rolled doubles. But this is what he got doubles again for jump up. So it's piling on Mighty Blow, Claw, Pro, and jump up. Quite a blitzer. Or, killer, I suppose. And then another one has gone Claw. He took dodge afterwards, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't love it. I could see jump up, especially as you intend to go piling on surely next. Dodge on killers, it doesn't really sit well with me. And generally speaking, you're not going to be letting these pieces get hit. I get that this one is probably more. It's not really the blitzing one, as you've got 9ball, but.
I think, it might just be more he took Claw because you roll doubles, and that's what you do when you roll doubles on Chorf blockers.
He wants some more like stability pieces, like those kind of standard blodge, stand firm, guard, dwarf blocker.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird mix of things. I don't know. I may have just skipped the double in favor of piling on, just to have 2 Claw Mighty Blow piling on Chorfs. Like you can win games pretty easily that way. But it's not unreasonable if that's the way you feel like you want to go. A bit more likely to stay on your feet, but it's gonna.
It's not the worst dodge on a killer that I've ever seen, certainly.
And then thing we've talked about a million times before, but it's a new season, so we can say it again. This Chorf is movement 3, but he's got stand firm, so that kind of negates that a little bit. If he has movement 3 without stand firm, and you get pushed back, you then can't stand up and move a square to remark whatever you were marking. So stand firm negates that movement 3 a little bit, and that you stay in the square you got knocked down into, and then you can stand up and remark the person you were on, keep that guard in relevant places. So it's probably not fireable, but it's not great. You'd rather him not have the movement bust, but it's not really a fireable thing, I don't think. Yeah, we get Archangel for a 3rd time in a row. I bet you're pleased, right?
That's what I was saying in the spoiler chat. Oh wait, are we allowed to spoil that? How long has it been? Oh, it's only been like a day. I'll hold off.
Yeah.
Saying it on stream at least.
And then this is the sort of typical Chorf blocker that you'd expect to see if you don't roll doubles, right? Guard, Mighty Blow. And then, haven't rolled doubles, take stand firm. Haven't rolled doubles, I'll take grab. Haven't rolled doubles, I guess he's never going to be a killer. What can we take? I went with Dauntless.
Apparently it's been spoiled. So then I will say, 2nd consecutive Super Bowl champion who had been cast by Steak and I. So.
Clearly, the way to become Super Bowl champion is to get in one of our recaps, which is unfortunate because I'm not recapping myself. Maybe if we did that,
I don't think that was something anyone was ever worried about. So the cool thing about Kredak is that grab. It's nice to have the Dauntless piece first of all, because Chorfs only have 2 strength 4, so they tend to kind of get in positions where they can be held up by a couple of higher strength players, but also the grab really synergizes well with this plus movement Bull Centaur, giving him the potential to actually one turn with slightly more reliability. I mean, you're still handing off to an Agi 2 player, but pseudo movement 10 combined with the fact that grab allows you to not use the blitz to pull a player into an empty spot means that you can save the blitz to punch through the end, saving yourself a bunch of 5 and 6 plus dodges.
It makes it slightly more possible. It's not necessarily something you want to plan on because it's not reliable, but I
think it moves it from like dwarf one turn to like
well, it was always slightly better than dwarf one turn.
What's a team that's like okay? I don't know.
Like humans,
like
or
a little worse than lizards now. Human, I think probably Brett's. I think it moves it into like the Brett's territory.
It's certainly possible, and if you're setting up on turn 8, you might as well try it, kind of thing. But it should never be your game plan, and it just makes it slightly more possible, which is kind of cool. Speaking of Bull Centaurs,
taking 2 skills is nice for that.
Plus movement and block, like you said, so he can potentially be good blitzer, one turn potential, or a blitzer, ball carrying potentially. But we do have a ball carrying hobgoblin. And then the other Bull Centaur is very clearly the blitzing Bull Centaur with Mighty Blow, Juggernaut, Frenzy, Block, and Stand Firm. So he can surf, he can blitz, he cannot get pushed off after he surfs. He can even more reliably surf people with the Juggernaut, or if he needs to push Stand Firm players out of the way to let his Hobgoblins and stuff through, then you can do that as well. It's a really good piece for a lot of good use, I think, there.
Yep. So I think priorities for this team moving forward are going to be to level up 1-1. He's pretty close. Vanity passes aren't easy on Bull Centaurs, but he's like a score or 2 away from leveling, and then even just a standard break tackle level would do a lot for this piece to kind of make it more relevant.
Break tackle guard would be pretty incredible on him. Move 7, strength 4 guard with break tackle that you can kind of get to places would be certainly handy. I like the Frenzy Wrestle Tackle Hobgoblin, by the way. That's kind of a weird thing. I mean, it's like a weird pseudo-sacker. Frenzy is like, hey, I get 2 tries at this, which is kind of... But you could have just taken like Strip Ball if you really wanted to do that. It's kind of interesting.
It's a bizarre piece that I assume is just continuously eating MVPs. Where is he? He's got 6 MVPs, so that's certainly a good chunk of his SPP, though he has killed some stuff.
Ball carrying Hobgoblin clearly went that way because he picked up dodge first. So now he's Blodge Sure Hands, pretty reliable carrier. And then your ever present dirty player Hobgoblin. High Lord Salt and Nurgle's FTD is the other team that almost went there.
Sorry, just dying a little bit.
Oh, that's fine. There's a lot of... I've played this team. There's a lot of injuries on this team. Most of them are irrelevant. Some of them are not. Where shall we start? I guess these Nurgle Warriors. He's got pretty good Nurgle Warriors, honestly. Block, Claw, Mighty Blow, Dodge, Stand Firm. Block, Claw, Mighty Blow, Guard, Stand Firm. Block, Claw, Mighty Blow, Guard, Stand Firm. Not going like the absolute full killer route on any of them with like tackle or piling on or anything, but you don't often see that on Nurgle. Some people will, but a lot of people kind of build them as they might have one that's completely dedicated to killing, and then the other ones tend to be support strong pieces or even hybrid pieces like these. So if you try to block them off, they've got Lodge and Stand Firm or Block and Stand Firm, and then if you stay next to them, they're going to Claw Mighty Blow you, which is kind of scary. Probably a little more guard would be nice, because only 2 of them have guard, and ideally you'd like 3 or 4 of them to have guard. And then there's one rookie one down here. He's not quite rookie, but 15 SPP.
Queefius Stripulips, the almost star of his match, the hero he needed but who wouldn't deliver.
Yeah.
Oh, because he picked up on the Pestigore instead. I think if he had picked up on Queefius, he would have won the game 100%. He only had to do a full field pass, handoff, run it in with Nurgle with no reroll. Easy.
He at least has block. If you have a Nurgle Warrior without block when all the rest of them do, that Nurgle Warrior is so slow to level up. You're basically just praying for MVPs. So at least he has block. His next level, probably guard.
It took him 18 matches to get 15 SPP, so I think that speaks volumes to how difficult they are.
It's better now. Beast of Nurgle, standard Beast of Nurgle, guard, stand firm, kind of levels. Those are the levels you take in some order. Some people take stand firm, guard. I like guard, stand firm here because he didn't have guard elsewhere. It's pray for doubles, otherwise break tackle maybe. And then 2 legend players.
My God. Scrotus the Unwashed, who was incredibly underwhelming in the playoffs, it must be said, against the Elves made of steel.
Yep.
And Wartigor, who was actually pretty good. Did a lot of stuff, didn't snake anything, just wasn't quite enough to beat the Elf BS.
Oh man, rolling that Agi after the 2 heads makes me feel so bad. That's your worst nightmare. Like, you want to take that Agi.
It's still not bad. Like, you're still 2+ dodging through tackle zones. Like, there are worse things to have. It's now like much harder to screen off this player.
Oh yeah. It's you absolutely take it. It's just annoying, right? Because when you're leveling this player, you're like, cool, I'll take sure hands. Oh, roll doubles, excellent, dodge. Okay, well, no stat. I'll take block. Well, still no agi. So I guess my next couple levels are going to have to be extra arms and 2 heads, just to be the pseudo agi 5, and then you get the agi.
Honestly, I think if this player had rolled agi before 2 heads, I think he still would have picked up 2 heads.
I don't know if I would. Possibly, but it's just, they're both great to have. It's just the order that they came in would frustrate me, and I know it would frustrate me.
Yeah, I might have gone big hand instead of fan. It's kind of a
you can't.
There's a lot of really good mutations you can pick up on Pestigors, and Pestigors often have to do so much on Nurgle teams. I feel like making one a bit more all-purpose instead of going real hard on the ball carrying might have been nice.
Please don't stand
big hand. It's counts as a retriever. Yeah. For those unfamiliar with the stream, Melon Steak's cat is an asshole.
Get in the box.
Will often be present in some sort of obtrusive fashion.
Yeah, it's just Nurgle. You tend to pray that you get the agi on your ball carrier, and then if you don't get it, you make them pretend agi by using 2 heads and extra arms. So he takes the 2 heads and then rolls the agi. It's still great, but you're like, ugh, why? Anyway, Scrotus is typical killer, mighty blow, piling on, claw, tackle, block, and then your kind of last skill is the choice there, and he went with Juggernaut, just pretty good. Lets you push stand friends out and stuff.
Over Pro. I think a lot of people take Pro in that position, but Jugs is really nice.
And then Rotters. Oh, there's a wrestle Pestigor who is niggled, I think. The wrestle is kind of makes up for that a little bit, but that's still scary.
Yeah, that's a player that's just going to die soon. I wonder if it's worth just replacing it preemptively rather than trying to pump some levels into it to get wrestle tackle. It's kind of a difficult decision with Pest.
Yeah, they're so important to your team, and rookie ones can be really annoying, but since they're so important, not having really high level potentially injured ones is kind of a good idea. We forgot to mention these injuries. The movement 3 and agi 1s don't really matter too much on the Nurgle Warriors, to be fair, which is why I skipped them. They're already slow and they're never touching the ball, so who cares? Moving on. And then
Rex said something interesting, which is that, of course, with the Pestigor level, Big Hand is kind of a defensive tool, and especially with Nurgle. I mean, I think with Nurgle more than any other team, you really have to consider what's going to sit for each half, because, of course, Nurgle have a lot of positionals and a lot of only so many broader spots, so inevitably you're going to be sitting some key players when you're setting up on defense versus offense.
There's always the question. It's either, do I field 3 Rotters and sit somebody more important, or do I put the Beast of Nurgle on the line, right? Those are your options. You can either have all of your positionals on the field, but then you need somebody to be on the line, or you need to take off one of those positionals. So having the the ball carrier just straight up sit is totally fine, because I mean, sure, if you're in a desperate spot, he'd probably be pretty good at recovering and running away, but as Nurgle, your defensive game plan is not necessarily sack the ball, recover it, and run away. It's more, look, there's Nurgle players in the way, come fight me. And then we got some Rotters. I don't know why these guys exist. Movement 4 they're so cheap, just fire them. Maybe keep the Dirty Player, because Dirty Player is really handy on Nurgle, and he's probably going to get sent off anyway, so because you're never going to have a bribe at 2100 TV. So he's probably fine, but why does Rage Rat even exist? Just fire him.
Because he's Rage Rat. How can you fire a player named Rage Rat in all caps? He's going to come over and beat you up, man.
Fair enough.
You don't have any good fear.
Ours Gotia.
Yeah, it's Zeta.
Yeah,
Zeta.
Yeah,
Z, can we get an official statement on the pronunciation of your name?
Well, I mean, that's Zeta, right? As in the Greek letter. Z Zeta.
Oh.
Zeta. Anyway, it's a chaos team. Let's look at it. Mostly it's in the right order, which is good. So chaos warriors. You'll probably see similar things to Nurgle warriors here, but maybe a little more focused on killing rather than just defensive screen type pieces, because they have the more movement, they have the more agi, it's easier to level them. So we've got this chaos warriors tackle, block, mighty blow and claw, and guard. A little bit of both there. This one took tentacles, which is certainly interesting, praying for the strength up with legend, I guess. Strength 4 tentacles isn't bad, but it's certainly not as good as strength 5.
Yeah, I might have taken prehensile tail. And by might have, I mean I've planned out this exact player with one of mine, and I think I would have taken boo! No, I'm just kidding, it's fine.
I mean, tentacles are fine, but like this isn't like the blodge stand firm guard is like kind of incredible. I have a player who's exactly like that. He's an idiot and keeps getting knocked out by players with tackle or getting powed, but his next levels are probably just going to be tentacles, honestly. Like, you pray for strength, but like there's not much else this type of player really wants, so you might as well take it. Then we have another one who's going probably around the same route as Beleth did. He took block guard first, but now he'll take the mighty blow claw tackle. Pretty typical sort of chaos or Nurgle thing, in which you get one guy who's straight up fast tracked to be the killer. You've got to take risks early as chaos, so you probably won't win games, and that'll help him level up fast. So you normally see Nurgle or chaos players go one guy like mighty blow claw before even block, and then the other ones go like block guard, and that's what we've done here.
Yeah, I like mighty blow claw block. Mighty blow claw piling on is ambitious, but I also have a mighty blow claw tackle player, so maybe I should.
Yeah,
Tanagors is really great. I think he picked him up from the market. Guard strength block mighty blow claw. That's a real nice like pseudo chaos warrior basically. Yeah,
it's just another chaos warrior but +1 movement and horns, so that's pretty good. And then there's like the blitzer killer piece with mighty blow claw piling on block tackle juggernaut, who has made legend. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of chaos and Nurgle players with this exact stat line. It turns out it's pretty good. And it requires no doubles, and it's amazing. So you're going to see a lot of beastmen with that at some point. Another beastman who's going towards that in case the first one dies. Always good to have a backup, especially when you have this many beastmen to utilize. And then a ball carrying beastman, block sure hands, 1 SPP, pray for like dodge or agi, but if not, we have many options that you can take in 2 heads, extra arms, that kind of thing. Movement beastman.
Chaos can always do the pseudo agi thing with mutations. Movement beastman is also a pickup from the market because I looked at that player, so hoping to do something interesting with that, maybe a frenzy piece, something like that. Chaos are nice for frenzy because having horns makes that a lot more reliable.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. He could be a frenzy piece, he could become a blitzer, he could become a mobile guard piece, he could become another ball carrier potentially. There's a lot of options for that. Movement is pretty flexible as long as he doesn't die. 2 regular block ones, a diving tackle one, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that.
You don't see that too often, and I like it. A regular guard and a line fodder beastman. He's agi, which doesn't really matter, but it means he's just going on the line. You don't want to try to level that. Ling.
No, and I think you look to recycle it eventually. He's only got 50k because he spent all of his money buying OP players. But
TSL is followed. Welcome
you
along.
make those agi 3 dodges sometimes, so it's good to have it.
Hey, look, it's that team that beat you that one time.
Oh man, this div is full of teams that have beat me that one time. But yes, Uber the Noober ended my extremely brief stint in the playoffs as the minor champion.
That one time.
Double Clawpalm Wolves that did nothing while his zombies AV busted my Croc scores.
Yeah.
On rando blocks. He lost one of his Palm Wolves. He only has one now.
That happened like very shortly after. Yeah, you lost him.
I think I remember feeling some small amount of
vindication.
Certainly vindictiveness.
That's a different V word.
So yeah, really great Necro team.
Lurch and Frankenstein.
Both flesh golems. One's kind of a support piece to tag onto elves. One is a bit more of a punchy, grabby dude. That sounds weird when you put it that way.
I'm a punchy, grabby dude.
Tackle Mighty Blow guard, Agi up white, so that's a support white that can get wherever it needs to, can dodge out if it needs to, and then a Blodge stand firm niggled one, who is beautiful, but is going to implode someday.
Jimmy Burrito also following. Welcome along.
I mean, thankfully we're not recapping Steak's team, because Steak has also beaten me fairly badly one time.
Just one time.
You beat me like somewhat fairly once, and then you just diced me to the ground one match.
Yep. Uber the Uber also coming along now that we're looking at his team. Where were we? The two werewolves, I believe. Yeah. Claw. So Claw Palm, always great. He's also Blodge Tackle. So not only are we pretty likely to knock over stuff with the Claw Palm, if we fail to knock someone over, even after 2 attempts with Tackle, we have Agi 4 Dodge to like make sure that he's not based against people. He can get into pretty good positions with Agi 4 Dodge, even if you want to just like, if you need to run the ball somewhere with movement 8, it's pretty likely to be able to get it and dodge through stuff. Like, that's a really good werewolf. You can do a lot of things, and the things that he can do, he's very good at. You know, like this is a lot.
Al Bundy is kind of a piece that can do basically anything.
And Bud Bundy 4.0 is praying for doubles because he's got block and tackle. You get dodge next, I guess, if you don't get doubles, but he's praying
dodge into recycled. Usually, especially when you've got an incredibly developed werewolf. The second one is just kind of a recycling factory for fishing for stats or something like that.
Rex has beat me 2 times, although I think if I recall correctly, the first time was fairly ridiculous in that like nothing I did worked. The second time was probably a lot closer, but I feel like it was a match I didn't care about at that point. Anyway, a ghoul.
Storied histories all around.
A ghoul.
Yeah, Scar 3.0.
Yeah, I mean, he's a ball carrier. He's a good ball carrier with Blodge, sidestep, and sure hands, but movement 6 is really rough. I mean, I guess it's fine to hold on to him, and if you really want, you can pass off to one of the werewolves or something, or hand off to one of the werewolves, but
I think his goals for the season are going to definitely be to get some ghouls level up, get a wrestle ghoul maybe, but definitely get a ball carrying ghoul to replace Scar, because a movement bust on a ghoul is a big deal, certainly at the second fastest player on your team.
Yeah, it's a little less bad, I guess, on Necro than it is on, like, Undead, for example, but, like, a movement-busted ghoul on Undead, like, being your only player that's faster than, like, 4, other than the Whites, which are generally doing something else, is really bad. But, yeah, that's not nice to have. I mean, I would probably buy a ghoul and see if I could get him leveled, and then fire that other dude. And then some zombies. 2 guard block zombies is ridiculous, although that strength 2 one is sad.
Strength busted, so you need to fire him.
Yeah, he's a lot less valuable now that the people that he's marking up can just 2-die him. It's nice to have that guard, but you have 3 elsewhere, or 4 elsewhere. I mean, never enough guard, to be fair, but like strength 2 guard is pretty rough. I would probably get rid of him. If you find him useful, then that's up to you.
100% get rid of him. I mean, that's so expensive, man.
I mean, I would. I'm not telling.
110k.
Yes, that's why I say I would, but I'm not Uber. If he thinks it's useful,
stop arguing for the strength 2 piece. We need to find.
I'm not saying he's. Jesus Christ. If Uber wants to keep him, he can. I'm just saying I would probably fire it. And then there's two zombies that are taking the only other skill you care about if they don't happen to take guard is Dirty Player. One got kick. So kick Dirty Player, good piece to have on defense. You won't be on the line. The only problem is this means you're putting your other Dirty Player and one of the guard guys on the line, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to buy a fresh zombie before his next match. There's no reason not to.
I think I would.
13 players is a perfectly reasonable bench to have as Necro, especially at high TV. So yeah, you're probably putting 2 rookies and the Dirty Player on defense, unless you're playing against some team you like just don't think will block you, and you can put your flesh golems, but I wouldn't recommend it. Pantheon
Passers and either, I'm not sure if it's T-Self or TSelf, but
I've always heard it said as T-Self. But
okay, so T-Self, Pantheon Passers, Pro Elves. So there are 2 blitzers. One is plus movement, which is great. Another one is guard and tackle, which is also great. He's missing dodge, but that'll probably be pretty quick to pick up.
I need you to click on Elvalon and hover over the injury.
Oh no. Don't do this to me. Is that a triple niggled elf? Oh god. Can I play you? Can I play you solely to kill that elf? Oh
It's
man.
niggled, it's movement busted, it's niggled again, and it's MNG'd. So it's a double niggled movement bust on a strength 4 agi 5 catcher.
Do we want to take bets on how long this guy lasts into the season? Can we
Forever.
make predictions right
that
now?
player is never gonna die.
Oh yeah, he's gonna make it to playoffs with this guy, and he'll be fine.
He's gonna get to legend, and then he's
Oh
gonna.
no, it's 2
retire.
niggles and a movement bust. I read it as 3 niggles. Yeah.
You can't be triple niggled. So
We were talking about blitzers. The guard one is really good. He'd like to have dodge so that he's more likely to stay around, but sidestep guard is pretty handy. Like, oh man, there's this annoying guard piece. I better block him to get him out of the way. Oh, didn't get a POW. Well, now the guard can be somewhere else to make your life even harder. It's a lot of things that your opponent has to think about when they block that guy, because you could very easily put yourself into a more annoying position. Like, that's really handy. You just want dodge.
So annoying starting with block sidestep. So I mean that's why getting guard on them can be so valuable, is because you already start basically as an ideal support piece.
He really needs dodge, but that'll be pretty quick. Then the other one is gone. He's kind of more of a blitzer, I guess, with tackle and the plus movement, but he can also be a relatively decent scoring threat, certainly. The catcher, who's super injured, is a great.
I mean, this team should have 5 movement 8 players. Unfortunately, Elvalon is a little battered.
Yeah, I mean he's good though. Like plus agi, plus strength, dodge, strip ball, wrestle. That's a really good. I mean, we've seen what agi 5 can do. This is agi 5 strength 4 with strip ball and wrestle. Like, it's a pretty nice piece.
Good luck keeping your ball safe from that. I mean, you will then kick it and it'll like burst like a balloon. You're not gonna have your ball anymore. So
yeah, you got to be careful with him, or else you might die. But until he dies, he's pretty incredible. There's another one who's gonna probably replace him with agi 5 leap sidestep. He could get well, he doesn't have enough skills, but
no, he's basically the ball carrier at block.
Yeah. Well, he has block.
Exactly. So he's not wrestle, so he's not going to be sacker.
Yeah.
Would you like to say the next player's name?
No.
Are you sure?
Yep. He's got wrestle, tackle, and dodge. Other good options.
Yeah, I mean, a secondary sacking threat for when your first one,
inevitably
it's a
becomes
smear
mush
on the field.
And then a Mighty Blow player, which is certainly handy. I feel like a lot of elf coaches undervalue Mighty Blow. A lot of them get doubles and they're like, haha, guard immediately. And I probably would for the first one, because guard is really handy to have. But like 1 guard is game changing. 2 is nice, but it doesn't like make it that much better for elves. And like that Mighty Blow really helps you win other elf matchups, because you can go up players and your elves are just as good as theirs. So that can make quite a bit of a difference. Even just like 1 or 2 player difference in a elf mirror makes a huge.
And Mighty Blow on catchers for pro elves is really nice. The high movement makes them ideal blitzers, really.
Yeah, strength 3.
He's going to be getting a Mighty Blow blitz every turn, and that's really all you need as elves. So.
And that's a movement 5 thrower, but dear lord, what a thrower!
Sif Muna, yeah, that's a.
Strong
That's a 2. Is that a 2+ long bomb? I think we're into 2+ long bomb.
I think he needs 1 more, right? Because he's agi 4, 5. He's basically agi 6 with a reroll.
I think that's a 3+ long bomb, which is everyone's favorite thing to say. But you don't throw long bombs very often as elves, it turns out.
No, but it turns out you can, and even the long passes now are 2+, which, like, so who cares that he's movement 5? You just kind of sit him on your end zone line, wait for people to walk at you, and then you hurl it to the people who can score, and it's fine. And the kickoff return kind of makes up a little bit for that he can get towards the ball. He's basically movement 8 on the kickoff, which is pretty much good enough to get to the ball. And then some linemen. I mean, they're pro elf linemen. They're cheap. They get recycled a lot. That's what they're for. Like, they're the elf team with cheap linemen. That's kind of the good thing about them, or one of the really good things about them. So you're going to see wrestle on them, and then they just go on the line.
Yep, and they can even foul. I'll be right back. Tristan just got home.
Excellent. Well, I will take a look at Lazarus Diggs and the Grody Greens. 1840 Nurgle team. We've got the Beast of Nurgle problem, where they have more than 1 skill. Oh, what a Beast of Nurgle. Oh, I'm just gonna sit here for a minute and admire that beauty. Oh boy. What we wouldn't do for that. Like, so this discussion has come up 1,000 times. Do you ever take plus strength on big guys? And I think that on a Beast of the Beast of Nurgle is like the only big guy that there's a serious debate between whether you would take strength or block when you roll it, because you might not roll block again, you might not roll doubles again. But he took strength, he went for it, and he was rewarded by rolling block two levels later. I think the Beast of Nurgle is like the only big guy that you consider strength on, and every other one you would just take block first. And it could be a debate with the Beast of Nurgle, but I would probably take strength because I like fun. And apparently, so does Lazarus Diggs. But no, he is now strength 6, stand firm, block, guard, break, tackle. So not only is he incredibly good at locking up players at strength 6, you can treat strength 4 players like they were strength 3 players in terms of tentacles, or you can basically make it impossible for those gutter runners and wood elf catchers to get away from him. He's very hard to block because he's now strength 6 block stand firm, and if you ever manage to end up in the situation where you've got your one zombie up against the Beast of Nurgle and you're like, haha, he's out of the game for a while, nope, he'll just strength 6 break tackle away from you. He can, like, oh, what a beast. Absolute beast. What a beast. Then we have a couple Nurgle warriors. None of them have gone we went the slow development route. They all went block first. 2 now have guard and 1 has mighty blow. I would normally have done mighty blow first on one of them just as a risk. This helps you win games earlier potentially, but it's going to make your development really slow. And I feel like with Nurgle, you kind of have to just assume my first season is going to be garbage. So let's not play for the win right now, and let's play for making wins later easier. So taking Mighty Blow first just to get one of their levels accelerated. Having a killer is really handy, because these guys are super slow to level now.
I missed most of another Nurgle team. What a loss.
The beast is incredible. But
I'm looking at it now, yeah. That is cheating,
yep.
And I don't like it.
Then we have the 4 Pestigors. 1 is block, 1 is block movement. He's probably going to become the ball carrier if he's not being used for it already. Block 1 can be pretty flexible. He might become like a guard piece because we don't have much guard elsewhere. He might become like a backup ball carrier. He might become a backup killer. There's a lot of options there. And then we have 1 who's gone the wrestle tackle, 2 heads frenzy. This is exactly how I'm going to build my wrestle tackle Pestigor if he ever levels more. Like sort of sacker type piece. You can always take stand firm or later. And then a killer with who's only 3 SPP away from that juggernaut that we've seen every other Pestigor player have, or a Nurgle player have on their killer. The order we went with was block, mighty blow, claw piling on tackle. So doing it in like the least greedy way, I guess. Not quite the least. I guess you could have taken tackle second, but dirty player Rodder, movement busted Rodder that shouldn't exist. Well, actually, I guess he's gonna have to because he can't afford another one.
I mean, a loner is better than a movement 4 one, I think.
Yeah, probably.
What leaps out to you about this team?
It's in the right order, and it doesn't have enough Rodders.
But also that it is almost entirely the Beast of Nurgle and the Pestigor.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a really, really tall team. Like, the Nurgle Warriors are pretty underdeveloped, probably because they've died.
Well, he went with block first, which makes them really fucking slow to level.
Oh, I know. I mean, they're even worse than Chaos Warriors, and I just went through leveling all of my Chaos Warriors with block first. So.
Third iteration of the ball carrier. Oh dear. But at least he's got plus movement. His next game is going to be pretty rough. Like, you have to put the Beast of Nurgle on the line, but like, honestly, that's probably fine. He's pretty terrifying. Not many people are going to block him, but you don't want to put anybody else there, and you only have the 2 Rodders. Like, your next priority for this team is to get like 3 more Rodders. Like, just go to 14 players. Who cares about the bloat? You need the Rodders to protect your better players, and you need the line pieces. Oh, there's a level. It's on a Nurgle warrior. Claw, done. Next.
Yeah, almost certainly. I mean, you could argue for stand firm, but with Nurgle warriors, you almost certainly want the second claw mighty blow.
Yeah, and then you can take stand firm after. We've got Khemri do it. Yes, we can, by Mick Mackey. One of the sort of 2 premier Khemri coaches currently around in REBBL. Other one being Herringzord, of course. And let's see what we've got. So the 2 Blitzraws. Mighty blow tackle. Piling on, grab guard. So he's the blitzing Blitzraw. Surprise. And another one is going to go that way, it looks like.
I'm so happy to have Khemri in Div 1.
I know Khemri's such a cool team. We have Mighty Blow Tackle piling on, just kind of the kill skills, and then when we're not using those, we have Grab and Guard. Grab is really useful, especially on Khemri, because a lot of your game plan is going to rely on keeping players locked up on Tomb Guardians, just because you have so many of them and so much Strength 5. Like making sure that you can control where the enemy team's positions are is really, really important on Khemri if you want to do well. So the Grab and Guard help with that a lot. And you can see that's what he's done with the first Tomb Guardian. Mighty Blow first to help them level, and then Guard stand firm grab. Mighty Blow first to help him level, block because he was lucky, and then Guard. And then the one went Guard first, which is not unsurprising because you just need Guard if you want to win games. So you probably take it on one of your first levels. And then another Mighty Blow. Like, there's a lot of Mighty Blow here, but that's kind of how Khemri play.
This is a killy-ass team.
And that's how Khemri play, right? Like, you're going to have Mighty Blow as a skill on 6 of your players, like, guaranteed, right? All the Tomb Guardians and Blitzras are all getting Mighty Blow. Like, that's just how it works. There's, like, no real room for debate there. Like, what are the skills you take? Maybe not first, like they were in every case here, but you take Mighty Blow on all those guys. Wrestle Skeleton, so 1, you have the wrestle piece available. 2, he can go on the line if you want, if you don't happen to have regular skeletons, and he does. He's got 3, like, line fodder skeletons. Dirty player block.
He ideally wants to level up to get rid of this movement busted dirty player skeleton. I mean, block is already pretty bloaty on him anyway. So
yeah, 1 SPP on either of those 2 guys, and he'll grab a dirty player, and then you can fire that guy and pick up a new one.
I think getting dirty player on Stompy the Great number 2 is
thematic.
Yeah, it's fulfilling his destiny, certainly.
And then throw rods. There were 2. Sometimes you see that, sometimes you don't. 1 has got wrestle tackle and sure hands. Well, they start with sure hands.
I like that.
1 has got wrestle tackle, so like a movement 6 piece that can do sacking things, which is something that the Khemri don't necessarily have unless you take Setek. And rolls more than normals. Has rolled more than normals. He got a double for his first level with dodge, so now he's blodge, kickoff, return. None of that all important or praying for agi that you see on Khemri teams, but that's fine. He'll just beat you to death while he takes 3 turns to pick up the ball with that throw around.
Yeah, unless he fails, too many 1 in 4.
Yeah, I mean, even with it's a 75% chance to pick up with sure hands. It's worse than like other teams are used to, but it's really not that bad. Like, you'll probably get it in 2 turns.
Yeah, and the Bone Man, I guess, is waiting on the first game to decide how he's going to level that. But yeah, scary looking Khemri team.
I would imagine it's piling on, but it might be Guard.
And then we have a college league, an ex-college league team, Rebellious Scions. Was in our college season, I'm pretty sure. Velociraptor.
It seems familiar. They might have been in our minors season, which means they would have been. I remember from minors, I think, but which would have been college.
He was in our college. Yeah, he was in. Where'd it go?
Anyway, it's cool to see
America's F.
Cool to see a college player make it all the way up to Div 1. I mean, I know it happens, but this is a college player from my college season, right? So that's kind of cool to see. Blitzers. Well, 3 of them are blodge. Very quick blodge. That's kind of a strength of the Dark Elves. 1 has gone sprint, sidestep, tackle, and movement. Is a pretty good scoring threat there. You'd never really have dedicated, like, quote, ball carriers on elf teams generally, but it's
also a 1-turn threat, though.
Yep, movement 8 is good enough to, like, sort of do 1 turns, especially since he has sidestep.
And sure feet.
1 that's really good at being a ball carrier, actually, or at least someone to hold the ball on, is REBBL with Lodge, Strength 4, sidestep, fend. You wouldn't mind him doing blitzing things when he's not holding the ball because Strength 4, but Strength 4, Lodge, step, fend is really hard to get the ball off of. So that's kind of handy. He can potato pretty reliably, honestly, if he can get out of range of things with movement 7, and still have a pretty good chance of making it with the Blodge, step, fend strength.
Yeah, it's a damn good piece for carrying the ball, certainly. And then he's got the Mighty Blow Tackle Blitzer to get a little bit of kill pressure on, which is nice. No guard, so he's going to be struggling a bit with that sort of like pitch control defensive play that Dark Elves like to do, but everything else is looking pretty good.
There's a defensive
got
blitzer there with diving tackle and sidestep, so it's a piece to throw on defense to try to prevent people from scoring. Hard to knock off with a sidestep, and the diving tackle is annoying to dodge away from.
Yeah, super standard Dark Elf blitzer. And he's got a surfing Witch Elf and a sacking Witch Elf. He's got a plus movement lineman, which I don't love, especially as it's the kick lineman. I skipped it for I don't know what, dodge, block, something like that. But it is a bit of a speedier piece. It gives him another like pseudo positional. Basically, it's basically a blitzer. And then a block lineman, a wrestle lineman, and 2 line fodder.
Yeah, I mean, movement is good. Going from 6 to 7 is a pretty big difference, but I think the kind of rule that I like about movement players is that if it doesn't increase the maximum movement of your team, it's probably not worth it. Like, it's super good to take movement on, like, a ghoul. It's probably not worth it to take move on a zombie, even though movement 5 is better than move 4, right? It's not going to help them keep up any better, but going to, like, movement 8 from movement 7, like that blitzer did, is really good, because now that's, like you said, it's the one-turn threat and that kind of thing. Going from movement 6 to movement 7 on a team that already has a bunch of movement 7 doesn't help out as much, and it's like, maybe if you're being super efficient, it's a little bit of extra bloat you probably don't need. But it's not bad, certainly. Like, a lot of people would take it, and it's probably think it's worth TV. Travel Scrabble is Scooby and the gang is another Necro team. I think this is the first. This is the second repeat team we've seen in this div.
I think Div 1 has 3 Nurgle, though, so we've still got 1 to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, oh God, put your players in order. God damn it.
Makes you so triggered.
It's so hard to, like, review your team, because I like to go by players, and they're all over the place. That's an Agi 5 werewolf.
It is indeed. And the other one is a strength 4 werewolf. Fuck this. Kill it.
Next. I don't like it.
It's just like, yeah, my stays does the death sentence. I'm stealing it. You need to kill this team. Fuck you, Travel Scrub. This is stupid.
It's Agi 5 blodge tackle. Agi 5 is incredible. You can grab the ball from just about anywhere. Pretty easy to score with movement 8. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, Top Cat the Vampire is also pretty good, it turns out.
I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm still at the werewolves. This is a strength 4 Mighty Blow, Claw Mighty Blow werewolf. He's also got dodge and sidestep. I mean, he's a ways away from legend, but you pray for doubles for the piling on, but he's still really good without it. What piece next? Shall we do zombies because they're at the top of the list? Why not?
Flim Flam is great. Great name. Flim Flam top 10 zombie.
Where are the other zombies? There's the Rattle. He's got nothing. And Dr. Johnson, Yaba, Mr. Crawls have all got nothing. And then a Kick Wrestle zombie, which is kind of weird. Normally you do like Kick Dirty Player, so because you don't want to put the Dirty Player on the line and Kick can't be on the line. Wrestle zombie screams, put me on the line. So I don't really know what... I guess you don't have Wrestle anywhere else, but you're not going to be blitzing with movement 4 very often. So it's kind of a weird combo. I guess what else do you take after Wrestle, though? I don't know. Probably not Kick.
Fired? It's a zombie. Now it's an 80k zombie.
Next is ghouls.
I mean, having Kick on Necro is useful, especially when one of your movement 8 pieces is also Agi 5 because reasons.
That's a strength 4 block dodge movement busted ghoul.
I think it's worth keeping that ghoul. Even like movement bust sucks, but it's. I mean, he's just like. I mean, he's a. I'm really tired of the like kind of strained. Oh, it's a this with this and plus whatever. Like no, it's just a movement busty ghoul with blodge and strength.
Yeah.
It's gonna explode someday, but it's really solid on the pitch for now.
Pretty reasonable to hold on to the ball with, so that like your werewolf isn't getting targeted and he can run around and do stuff. You know, werewolf isn't getting lightning bolted. Blah blah blah. You can hold it on that ghoul because it's hard to knock off. Blodge, strength 4. Sure hands would be nice, and then you just hand off to like a wolf and score on them instead, so that you don't have to keep leveling him. Maybe get him sure hands and then probably stall out his leveling.
Yeah.
Whites, yeah, that's a vampire.
Yep. It's I mean, like, it's less of a stretch when it's literally just a vampire. It is niggled, which is unfortunate, of course. Someday he's going to die. He's only single niggled though, so he's not quite, that elf.
No, not quite. Yeah, block. Well, he starts with block, but tackle, guard, and mighty blow, along with the stats to make him a vampire. Sort of pretty standard white levels. Guard and mighty blow and tackle, all things that they need. He could go piling on if he wants to, but I don't know if you'd want to with the strength 4 Agi 4 type piece. And you can do a lot of your killing blitzing with the werewolf anyway. Another one is Gun Mighty Blow. His next one will probably be either tackle or guard, because that's what whites do. Flesh Golem, guard block, and...
Yeah, it must be said that this team is lacking guard because it keeps rolling so many stats mostly. It's got 1, 2. That's
normally you'd probably see...
3. It's got 3. I just can't count.
Well, you'd probably see 4 by now. You'd have 2 on Flesh Golems, 2 on whites.
4, and then ideally you pick one, like a lucky zombie double is not unusual. So 5, it's not uncommon to see 5 guard at 2000 TV.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it yet because he keeps rolling stats. I mean, stats are good though, especially on Necro. What's that other Flesh Golem? Block guard, Mighty Blow, grab. Kind of all the skills you'd take if you don't happen to roll doubles. Agi 1, but who cares? He's going to stick there and be annoying with block, stand firm. He can keep you where he wants with grab, and then if you get stuck on him, well, you're getting Mighty Blowed. So, pretty good team.
Yep, a real solid piece.
Put your players in order.
Those wolves are dumb.
The third Nurgle team of the division, I am sorry, Div 1.
I think this is the biggest one.
2200, yeah.
Yeah, biggest Nurgle. Grungy Desserts by Stouticus.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of high-level players now. It's less tall, and there's just a lot of skills.
That is a wall of skills, yeah.
Yeah, the Beast of Nurgle, standard beast levels, guard, stand firm. Okay, movement busted Nurgle Warrior, but he's got stand firms, so that's okay, and block guard, so he's a support one. Then he's got block guard, tackle, and then Mighty Blow. He'll probably take claw next, or maybe stand firm. Just, support pieces. They're annoying to push around, and you can get guard in places.
I like the way he's built this team. This is kind of how I'm building my Chaos team. Like a little bit more pitch control-y than straight up killy. Angry Churro is just begging to get tentacles, so you can have two beasts of Nurgle.
Oh yeah, I would take tentacles on him. If he didn't already have, like,
I think I'd go guard into tentacles. It's a tough call.
I'd just take tentacles, man. Strength 5 tentacles is so good. I would probably, and you have 4
really
guard?
Hurting for guard though. 4 guard on Nurgle is pretty low.
I mean, not really. Honestly, you only have 5 players who kind of end up with guard.
You can get a Pestigore. You can give a Pestigore guard.
It doesn't happen very often though, because you have the Pestigores are pretty used for other things generally. It's hard to dedicate one to being like a guard stand firm piece.
Used and abused.
Yeah. Sponge
Cake Man is pretty great. Wrestle, tackle, strip ball, 2 heads, kick? Question. Yeah, really great sacker who can also kick the ball.
Well, it's actually interesting. Like, there's a question of who gets kick, if anybody, on a Nurgle team, because on defense you basically field 3 rotters and they're all in the line. Like, the only other option to have kick on a player is on that sacking player.
Yeah, I actually get it, because, like, of course on defense you're always going to field your sacker, so of course your sacker can get kick if he's got nothing else that he really needs, which at wrestle, tackle, strip, 2 heads, he's pretty much there. So yeah, I get it. It's just kind of funny. It's
just the only place. It's the first time I've seen it, but that's exactly what I would do, honestly. Like, it's the only place. It's, I think, the only logical place to put kick on a Nurgle team.
Hey, look, an Agi Pestigore that then took 2 heads.
Yeah,
right.
It's great. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it's annoying when it happened in that order.
I know, just giving you a hard time. All apple pies.
Yeah, we've seen all apple pies. He is apple pies. We missed a Nurgle Warrior, but he's a Nurgle Warrior. He went slightly killier with Mighty Blow Claw first before guard, but you have to do that on somebody probably.
Yeah, I mean, like, we talked broadly about. We don't need to talk about literally every single player.
I like to mention them all the first time we go through it. Yeah, apple pies is apple pies. He's the killer. He's edgy too, and he's apple pies. We know the memes about apple pies. Donut in a hole is really cool. Taking that, as we saw before, movement 7. We talked about, I think it was on Zeta's team. He had a movement 7 beast or chaos beastman. And this is one way that you can take it. Went with block frenzy juggernaut to be like the surfer, and it's pretty good to do with movement 7 because you have more options. And
yeah, it also makes him a nice anti-wrestle piece.
Yep.
To have that one juggernaut piece, because he doesn't have all apple pies to legend yet, so he could maybe consider getting pro, though you still kind of like, especially on an Agi 2 killer, the jugs to prevent 1 and 9s from leaving your player based or forcing a 50% dodge.
Yeah, he'll take it on the legend level. I think the other skills are more important. And then Wrestle and Dirty Player on a Rotter. That's from Ornstein, I believe, being 1990. Yep, that's kind of how you would build a Rotter, unless you have a hero Rotter like Glob on my team, who has become a meme in his own right.
Wait, do you still have that Mighty Blow Rotter?
He's not Mighty Blow. He's now Block, Claw, Tackle, and he was ridiculous. Every game I've played with him, he's just been a monster. Like Nurgle Warriors doing nothing, Claw, Block, Rotter, killing someone like every turn. Glob is incredible, and he has become the heart and soul of my team.
I thought he was Claw and Mighty Blow.
No, he will get Mighty Blow if he
Claw
gets
doubles for Rotters? Do Rotters get mutation access on normals?
Yeah, but they don't have strength on normals.
No, I thought you got a double for him for Claw and Mighty Blow, and everyone was like, "Take it."
No.
Anyway, it's a great Nurgle team. I actually really like the way it's built.
It is a really good Nurgle team. Like, this is how I would like to have a Nurgle team, honestly.
And then we have Archangel's Will.
Yeah, Super Bowl champion Archangel. And
we've covered this team so many fucking times.
3 times. Treeman with guard and grab, 2 skills that you take on Treeman. Yeah. It's not much else to say there.
No.
Nobody incredible, honestly, but like he lost a few players going through his playoff run and stuff.
He who catches unseen is incredible. Are you kidding? Agi up catcher?
Yeah.
Come on, look at this guy.
He was one. There's like one
Did you
really
see him
good player.
That game? He was just click ball. Click ball.
I haven't actually watched it yet.
Oh, it's a good game. You should watch it.
Oh, I'm going to. I mean, I was in an airport and I got stuck in security for a while, annoyingly. Because I had a mouthful of water in my water bottle, so the dude made me wait behind about 6 other people who were getting their bag searched, then searched my bag, found the mouthful of water, and was like, "You got to go dump that and start the whole process over again." So I was stuck in security for so long.
Usually they're like, "Chug it."
I was like, "Dump it, or I'll chug it, whatever." And he was like, "Nope, you've got to go. You can't do that in here. You're gonna have to go outside and get rid of it." And like sent me back outside of security, and then I had to wait in the giant line again. Because there's it was a tiny little terminal in the Boston airport with like 1 TSA employee. Oh my god, I feel like it made me want to die. Anyway,
TSA is fun. As Razzlestorm pointed out, it's a game with a lot of ones, but it kind of highlighted for me just how much teams like Wood Elves have the tools really to recover when things go wrong. I was thinking about like Wood Elves versus Dwarves. Like when things start going wrong on Dwarves, you're just like, well, I guess I lose this game.
Yep.
Because there's not really a lot there's no real coming back. You don't have the tools to provide you with like opportunities to make reasonable odds, like chances.
Yeah, that can happen on any sort of slow bashy team. Like often when I play against Elves or like Skaven or whatever as Nurgle, you're like, well, if this next turn goes badly, I just lose, and then like it doesn't go well, and then they all run away from you, and you're like, well, literally nothing I can do for the next 4 turns. Enjoy scoring, Elf team. Like sometimes it happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. But Elves, can recover from those kind of situations.
I mean, in particular, Wood Elves, like unless you have literally no players in the field, and I mean literally none. See like Squiggy versus Sage. Playoffs a billion years ago.
Yeah,
you always have a shot. You always have a way to recover, even when like really critical stuff goes wrong. Which cough, it happens.
Yep. What are the catchers? 2 guard sidestep block catchers who are really good. Like that's two guard movement 8 pieces that are blodge step, so they're super annoying to get rid of, and they can get into places really easily. Can be really incredible on Wood Elves. Guard in general can be really incredible on Wood Elves to allow you to utilize those ward answers, especially that strength 4 one. We're missing like the classic strip ball tackle ward answer, but they'll get there. Ward answers level quick.
It turns out the one before Morlaniath was tackle strip ball.
Yeah,
Melon's being a dick.
Has been all day. Yeah, they'll get there, and ward answers are great. Rookie, and then a thrower, nothing super incredible, just accurate and dodge, but it turns out Wood Elves are just good, even with not many skills. Lineman,
that thrower, that thrower did some stuff that game.
Oh, I mean, he obviously will. He's Agi 5 with the reroll to pass. Like it turns out Elves are just good players, so with 1 or 2 skills, they're still really good, even if they're nothing super exciting. And then a bunch of linemen, block, dodge, wrestle, tackle, dodge, kick, wrestle. They're Elves. They do elf things. They can do lots of stuff, but a lot of the time they'll be on the line.
Yep, it's not like a crazy looking Wood Elf team, but it's got the players it needs to get stuff done, obviously,
And it
and
turns out
it's still in pretty good shape despite taking a lot of hits.
it turns out Wood Elves are good, right? Like we said, even if they have any players, and even if those players are rookie, sometimes you can just throw dice and win games because that's how good elves are. Like Wood Elves are a really good team, regardless of how many skills you have, and the more skills, the better. And 1680 Wood Elf team is pretty incredible.
And then, last but not least, we have a Brett team in Div 1.
Yeah.
We did it, boys. I've played this team.
So have I.
I've beaten this team. I think you lost to this team.
I lost to this team because it was the first team I played in my first season of REL when I had 0 tackle on the team, and he had like 4 dodge. Like all his blitzers were alive, and all of them had dodge at the time. Like I just couldn't knock over any players. It was really difficult.
Yeah. He is down a blocker and down a blitzer because Bretts tend to die.
The ones that are alive are great.
Up ones.
Yeah.
One is an agi up AV busted killer, kind of. I mean, he kind of does a bit of everything.
Well, yeah, their strength is doubles for blitzers, so you generally just take Mighty Blow if you happen to roll doubles. So you can end up with some weird players or weird skill progressions because you can't plan on it. But now that he has it, he'll certainly use it. And then the other one is the ball carrying running one with blodge, step plus agi, fend, sure hands. Really good to get the ball on him, and really easy to pick up with somebody and hand off to him, or pick up with him and hand off to another one. As it turns out, blitzers have catch, and 2 of them are agi 4, so we can really easily do the rugby style short pass whenever you really feel like you need to move to the other side of the pitch kind of play, because it's really reliable to do it that way. Another one,
you can play the kind of pseudo elf game even a little bit better than most human coaches can. So
yep. And this one went leader to save on some TV, and then fend, tackle, dodge. Blockers, that's where you take your guard. One of them has got dodge, which makes them a little bit better, and another one is taking Mighty Blow because it's your only strength access.
Yep, Raj Guard is a damn fine skill set. I mean, you probably take Stand Firm next, so you're forcing more wrestles maybe instead of just pushing the player away.
Yep.
Well-Hummered Pimp, maybe he goes Mighty Blow to get a little bit more kill going. And yeah, he's getting the high-level farmhand to be a bit of a killer as well.
Yep. Peasants, dirty player, block, whatever, they're peasants. It's basically what they're for. Cheap fouling, line fodder. Block helps them. You can get a few extra blocks in sometimes. They're also slightly harder to push over on the line. On peasants, you can take block as line fodder instead of wrestle because they have fend. Is a thing that works out. It doesn't really matter that much.
He hasn't bought a new guy from the market yet, as Luke is saying, I think. So there's still a free agent, and he bought Arthur Pendragon, or I don't know.
There might be another player there, but he has 190k. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see a 4th blitzer either from the market or from just buying a rookie.
Blitzers are real expensive. He might end up just getting a blocker. Yeah, I mean, you can see Companion is 190, which would be his full bank, and that's not terribly impressive. So I wouldn't be surprised for him to pick up a developed blocker from the
or a rookie blitzer if he doesn't get something from the market, already has. So that's Div 1. We don't have anything to talk about in terms of leaderboards or schedule because nothing has happened yet.
It still took us an hour.
Yeah, it's the first time we've looked at these teams, so it'll be longer the first time. Div 2 or Div 2A.
Oathblow, another coach I've played before. Man, this is a lot of familiar faces. I should have stuck it out with my lizards, clearly.
It certainly is. A lot of teams that I've played or I'm familiar with, although I'm in 2B because recapping my own div would be kind of dumb. But some names I recognize in there too. So Crown Jelly and Oathblow. What a weird thrower.
I mean, it exists, so it's already a weird thrower. But it was a Mighty Blow thrower when I last saw it, I think. I think it was Mighty Blow Tackle. And now it is Mighty Blow Tackle, Hail Mary Pass, plus that best player. I don't care what this player does. I don't know what it tries to do on any given match, but it does it with panache.
Not only that, he has 2 Norse throwers. Most teams take 0. This team takes 2. He's got accurate and agi for that extra easy passing play. He's got Mighty Blow Tackle to be and block to be a blitzer with, and he's got Hail Mary Pass in case you want to wang the ball down the field, as Herringsrod would say, on defense. I guess I don't really know.
Oh, and he's tied both of us. We both got ties against Oathblow.
I think that's the ideal use of Hail Mary pass there, is that like on defense you strip the ball from somebody or whatever, then you pick it up and just Hail Mary it to the other side on against slow teams, and then suddenly they don't score anymore. It's like for punting. Then a rookie one who will do absolutely nothing right now. He is just an expensive lineman.
Two throwers is even weirder than one up north, I feel.
I mean, he's basically an expensive lineman right now, and I don't really understand why he exists. But, well, to each their own. Ulfs. Movement 5 Ulf, or plus move, wait. Oh, I'm looking at the Yeti. I was confused for a second. I thought Ulfs were base movement 5. They're not. They're base movement 6. He's a movement busted Ulf, but he's block, mighty blow, piling on, and, you know, strength 4, so he's a good puncher. Potential surf threat. Low movement kind of sucks, but I don't think it's worth getting rid of him. There is only one, which is a little annoying. You'd like to see another one. This is an AV7 Yeti. Ouch. But he's also strength 6, mighty blow, block. Oh god. I love him, but I hate him at the same time. I don't even know, man. Help me out here. Oh, you left. You left without telling me. I asked you a question.
I dashed away.
What'd you ask? I don't know whether I love or hate that Yeti.
Oh, I love that Yeti. I mean, it's like the most fragile thing ever. But,
it's so funny. Like, claw, mighty blow, block, strength 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the glass cannon-iest player I've seen in a long time.
AV7. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
A terror until you knock him over, at which point he'll just, like, you know, fall over with a wet.
He is the biggest fouling target I've ever seen. Right? Like, if you ever knock him, the good news is he's strength 6, so he's actually pretty hard to knock over. But if you do, he's getting stomped on by anybody in the relative vicinity, because he is terrifying, but he's also armor 7. Like, what a hero. Yeah. 2 berserkers, agi dodge, guard, so you can get guard in kind of useful places, as well as just being an agi 4 player to run the ball with if you want. And then another one went killer with mighty blow and piling on. Piling on is pretty natural for berserkers because they have jump up naturally. They're like kind of very, very easy to build killer players. Then sort of jack of all trades linemen can be a lot of things. We've got guard kick, which I like, and we've got guard tackle, which I also like. There's a dirty player, there's a dauntless dodge, there's a dauntless tackle dirty player, which I think is a little weird. He's a lot of TV to invest in a player that's likely going to be stomping on stuff.
Yeah, agi 2 tackle dirty player dauntless is a skill set.
Yeah,
it's not quite as baffling as the thrower, but it's like it's in the vicinity.
Like, I don't know, as soon as you take like dirty player on a player, you've really committed to just being stompy with him, so he's going to get sent off at some point. So like making a 110k player whose job is to get sent off eventually is not something I'm particularly fond of. But at least he's good. Like, until you decide to foul with him, he's block tackle dauntless, which is a good player. And then once your other dirty player gets sent off, well, you've got a backup one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate 2 dirty player on teams with cheap Norse or teams with cheap linemen, but I think you probably should fire Rick, which is also a great name. So maybe don't fire him because he's clearly the backbone of the team.
Hey, look, it's good old Russellford himself, the big boss of Div recaps this season. The secret of my success. Got some orcs.
Sweet boys.
Next. 4 black orcs.
There are certainly some orcs here.
Yeah, there are some orcs. Not the most typical black orc progression. You'll often see just straight up block guard stand firm. We got three mighty blows. Well, 4, but like 3 in the first 2 levels, which is not something you always see on orcs. You normally see blitzers be the sort of mighty blow players, and then black orcs be the like block guard stand firm. But it's certainly an option. Helps them level fast and catch up if you need to. So it's a thing that can happen. You just don't always see it. This one has agi 1. Who cares? Because he's also strength 5. Strength 5
he's
black
also
orc.
niggled though, so similarly in the glass cannon category.
Yeah, he's going to be really good against any team that doesn't have claw. And then as soon as claw exists, he's going to be a massive target for them because like any claw Mighty Blow team sees a niggle and just starts drooling. Like, that's how they work.
Hey Ben, how do you like the orc thrower?
I hate throwers. There isn't one.
Yeah. Why do you hate the orc throwers, Ben?
Because they're movement 5.
Because they're overpriced linemen. Hey, look, it's a lineman. It's a thrower, but better.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, movement 3, Black Orc, but he's got stand firm, so who cares? Yeah, exactly. He's a lineman. He's cheaper than a thrower would be in this same situation, and he's better because he's got agi and sure hands and pass block. Ugh. Oh man, it's like orc throwers are like generally people will start with them for like sure hands access, but when you can build a blitzer to be better at running because they have movement 6. But this guy got agi, and you're like, well, agi 4. If you were a thrower, if you had a thrower and you rolled plus agi, you'd be like, well, I'm keeping him, right? And yeah, this guy is just a thrower who happened to roll agi 4. So there you go. He's basically a thrower, but
Solo Vexer is a hell of a player, though.
yeah, agi 4 with the agi 4 quote thrower and the agi 4 blitzer, you have like a receiving threat, as it were. And he is blodge firm and strength 4, so he's very difficult to shift if you like were trying to throw the ball to him as an option. And on defense, he's annoying to shift because strength 4 blodge stand firm tackle. You can put him in an annoying place. Like, he's very good. I like him a lot. He's really good on offense and defense. That's kind of a cool player.
Yeah, kind of a player that's doing a lot of things. And then some really underdeveloped blitzers. I'm guessing he's sustained some losses lately. At one with Mighty Blow only, and 2 SPP away from getting.
Yeah, the Black Orcs make up for that quite a bit, though. They have Mighty Blow. Normally, the Black Orcs are like block guard, and then the blitzers go like tackle Mighty Blow. But he's got tackle on a Black Orc. He's got Mighty Blow on the Black Orcs. So it's not as bad as it seems to have underdeveloped blitzers. They'll get there. One with Mighty Blow. The next one is going to take Mighty Blow. Maybe guard, but probably Mighty Blow. And then block, stand firm, frenzy, guard. Stand firm and frenzy means he can surf things. Armor 8 is a little scary, but he's definitely worth keeping around to surf players with. Guard line orc is cool. A regular line orc.
You don't want to talk about Poke Chops and his double movement bust for a moment?
Nope. I want to pretend that player doesn't exist.
He's getting fired.
The only thing that this team needs is line orcs, honestly. Like, you like to have 3 line orcs to put on the line. You like to have an extra one so that you can dirty player stuff. Although with the like block, guard, stand firm black orcs, you could just start, unless you're against like claw heavy teams, you could just LOS black orcs and probably be pretty happy about it.
Never LOS black orcs.
I mean, against non-claw teams, it's probably fine when they're all block, guard, stand firm, and one of them is strength 5. But like, it's until you get linemen. Like, what else would you put there until you get linemen? Because right now you don't have any.
Buy 2 linemen, I guess.
Okay, then you have 2 linemen. Who else do you put on the line?
The rookie blitzer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like, so this team needs linemen. And that's basically all it needs. Maybe some more blitzer levels, and then you'd be pretty happy.
Oh shit! Superfed's in this div. I didn't even notice.
he is.
I'm following him around.
Thick, rich, and creamy. Jimmy Burrito. Some more necro. The ever-present welcome to REL. Here's your free palm werewolf. Literally the two of the first 3 skills.
I like Paris Stilton's Junior's Moxie. Gets blocked first, second skill, jump up. Fuck you, I'm definitely getting Molly on.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement.
Just going for it. Then he gets Mighty Blow, so only one more. But only 2 chances to roll it. And he's got tackle, so he's you've got one like I'm gonna kill you with Mighty Blow piling on jump up, and then you've got one to deal with the dodge players if you want to knock them over. Flesh golems. This guy's rolled 2 doubles. Normally you only see 1 on flesh golems because they die, but he's got blodge, guard, Mighty Blow, which is, you know, hey, that's a good flesh golem. And then he's also picked up a niggle and diving tackle. Interesting. Like, what else do you take as doubles, I guess, on a flesh golem? The only problem
diving
is
tackle on a flesh golem is awesome.
The only problem is he's moving 4, so it could potentially be hard to get in the right place. But like it's a good skill if you've already taken dodge, and it's very handy.
Yeah, I mean, he's niggled, which is a bit scary, so putting him on the floor might result in pain, but I mean, ideally you're causing a turnover when you do it.
Forever Provolone is the other one. He's just a more standard flesh golem with block, Mighty Blow, guard, tackle. What do the whites look like? One is at G2 moving 5, but I guess that's okay because he's stand firm guard mighty blow.
You might look to recycle him this season. I mean, he might just die of natural causes, and he is 4 SPP away from a level. If he didn't roll anything spicy on the level, I might consider trying to level him up. But I guess leveling a fresh white and Div 2 is probably a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're not upset about us covering you, Superfed. And there's another white who's gone the blitzing route with piling on, jump up, mighty blow, tackle. He's got plus movement too, which is certainly handy. Although he's, I assume, niggled, which is annoying when you're on a piling on player. Makes fouls scary. You just got to be really careful when you decide to pile on. You can't hold down the button by any stretch of the imagination. One ghoul to be the ball carrier, blodge, sure hands, and he's also picked up plus movement and fend, which are really handy on your sort of ball carrier. He can keep up with the werewolves really easily if he wants to now. And
speedy necro team for sure.
Very speedy boy. A lot of zombies, and here's what we talked about before. 2 guard zombies getting lucky and grabbing the guard, so they're going to stick around. And that's how you add extra guard to a team that doesn't have a crazy amount of strength access. And then the other ones are, here's a kick one, some block, and here's a dirty player one.
Yeah, I really like Count Rockford the second. He's a speedy boy. He can kind of keep up with the wolves when he needs to punch stuff. He's got the mighty blow piling on, jump up combo. It's a lot of kill on this team. I mean, you could potentially have 2 serious piling on hits a turn if you're on the LOS. It's damn good. It's got 5 guard. It's a solid team.
Dwarf team. Cogs of War by O-Revert. I don't recognize that name. Maybe it's just me.
I've seen him around.
He's
got a death roller, so I like him.
Already. It's
the Coltrane baby in all caps.
Well, I found my new favorite coach.
First skill piling on.
Oh man. All right.
Awesome.
So that is piling on block grab death roller. Incredible. Movement 4 piling on. What's not to love?
How many players has it killed? Only 3.
Let's put my break tackle, pretty mobile for a big guy, strength 7, I'm gonna tie you up your players type dude just on the floor. Seems
I don't think this is actually O-Revert's original player, but
probably
it is pretty
not.
beautiful.
I love him. I love him so much.
All right, going back to the top of the list, Ty Kaliso has had better days.
Yeah, movement 4 is really rough for a frenzy piece.
Movement 4 and AV bust. He's kept him around since, I forget if injuries go top to bottom or bottom to top, so I can't tell if the movement bust is new or if the armor bust is new. But
yeah, he's probably in recycle territory for me. I think movement 4, movement busts on already slow players, is really unfortunate, especially since he's frenzy. He's pretty good with strength, mighty blow, that kind of stuff. But I think he's probably worth recycling now that he's got the AV bust and the movement.
Yep. Whoever plays this team next is going to be pretty happy. It's missing some pretty serious players. It's got a Troll Slayer with not a lot.
No.
It's not unusual to see tackle or maybe even stand firm picked as an early skill on a second threat Slayer. It's nice to have the kind of more mobile options, though this one does have a lot of tackle on its more mobile piece. Less essential. Guard, random Longbeard just sitting there. First runner is... block, kickoff, return, dodge, fend, accurate. So doing some dwarf passing, why not?
I mean, I guess when you get to the point where your dwarf runner has blodge, kickoff, return, fend, and you don't roll doubles, you're like, fuck.
Well, you say that, but then the other runner has pass. So
okay,
one
never
has
mind.
pass and one is accurate. This is a bizarre combo.
Yeah, we'll pass from one thrower to the other one. He's accurate catching.
Yes. The other one is MNG'd, is a movement up dwarf runner, which is real solid as discussed. Fend, blodge as well, and movement 7. The all coveted movement 7 on dwarves.
A bunch of longbeards doing longbeard things. Nothing is there. Take guard first. So there's a bunch of them with guard, and there's one who's leveled a few more times to get stand firm, grab, and mighty blow. Also movement 3, but probably fine because stand firm and they're dwarves, not particularly speedy anyway. let's see, where are the blitzers? Did we mention them? There are two. One's a rookie, and one has picked up tackle and an armor bust. Ouch.
Yeah, he should probably recycle Jace Straton. This team is in kind of rough shape.
I would get a new
cool
I would get a new Troll Slayer first before recycling that blitzer.
The Troll Slayer is in worse shape and is incredibly bloating, like really heavily bloating this team. So
yeah, this looks like a 1400 team, but it's actually, you know, close to 1800 if those two players were not MNG'd, right?
There are 3 players MNG'd. It's close to 2000.
Yeah, I would probably get rid of that Troll Slayer and recycle him now. And then once he gets like Mighty Blow, maybe you could drop the Blitzer and recycle him, or once you had enough cash. Like, it'd be hard to recycle them both simultaneously, but I think they're probably, in my opinion, they'd be in line for recycling.
Yeah, for sure.
High Elves, Not for Science is another team I don't recognize. Or another name I don't recognize.
That's true. I actually don't recognize this either. I think this is a new person to me. Felwitz. No, I give up. Wow, that's a lot of stat busts. Jesus.
That's a movement 10 catcher.
That is a movement 10 catcher with sprint, so that's a natural one turner on a team normally described as a little slow.
I don't recognize every coach name. Certainly, I'll get to know them as I see them in recaps and stuff, but I don't know everybody off the top of my head.
Karuna is a real standard blitzer, took blodge sidestep. Lord Mithanel Mar has Mithaniel maybe has an agi bust, but he's been sitting on that for a while. I guess he keeps it around because he has Mighty Blow piling on Juggernaut.
Yep,
3 doubles. Incredible.
I love this team already. Oh man,
I have real like mixed feelings about this.
It's fun. I like fun.
It is definitely fun.
And the thrower has got, he got doubles with strong arm. So we've got accurate strong arm, sure hands, block, dodge, like movement 6 and number 7, but he can throw it real far.
Yep. He's a real good thrower unless you hit him and then he dies. Strength 5 movement busted blodge frenzy piece.
Oh god, I love him. He's a strength 5 elf. And movement 7 is still speedy enough to like do frenzy things. That's fine. And movement strength 5, movement 10. What a monster. Movement 10 and
also the movement 10 sprint piece took Jugs as a double.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because he's a natural one turner. So
what's a hole for himself? I get it.
It's so good. Oh man, if you can get double movement plus movement on a high elf catcher, they're natural one turners that are strength 3, so they can blitz themselves holes. That's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. This is probably one of my favorite players I've ever seen. I can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah, this team is making me anxious.
I love it.
The AV busted agi up lineman who is wrestle, leap, tackle, strip. Yeah, I mean that's a good piece. It's a little fragile, but I like that one. I don't hate every stat bust.
Yeah, I like Superfed's comment. This team is the opposite of Shadorra and his anti-stat bust agenda. Anything that's a stat bust, fire
it. All teams need to be perfect and beautiful. No scars, no
red numbers.
Fight. No, only green.
This is a movement 5 agi 3 blodge guard sidestep elf. Am
I allowed to say you fire Prexus? Are people going to be mad if I'm no fun and want him to fire one of his players?
I mean, probably. Well, so he's blodge guard, which is pretty incredible. Blodge guard sidestep, which is pretty incredible in an elf team, but it's a lot less useful because the high elves are already slow, and he's even slower, and he can't even like dodge out or into things effectively. Like, it's really sad, but I think I would probably fire him. I don't know. I can see it either way.
It's still useful. I mean, I get the. Anyway,
high elf linemen are slow. Let me rephrase my compared to other elves. There is.
It's true. You can't really afford to fire anyone. You got to keep the one turner off the pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
There are 7 doubles and 6 stats, by the way. I finally bothered to count. So yeah, he's really good at rolling level ups.
Yes, he is
really good.
And yeah, like if once you have enough players to not worry about it, he's probably first in line to be fired. But you can't fire anybody as long as the one turner is a player that exists. Lineman who's got wrestle leap, dodge, and guard. You can leap guard into nice places, which is kind of cool. I like that a lot. He's movement 5, which is annoying, but he's really useful. And like we said, we can't get rid of anybody right now. And then another movement 5. I like how this team, like, if you average this team's movement, it would probably be like 6, even though they've got a movement 10 player, just because there's 3 movement 5s. Oh, man. I love it. I love everything about that team.
Yeah, and like, oh, man. It's a great team. I really look forward to how it performs. I want to watch all of its games. I'm not going to watch anyone else's. I just want to see this team do stupid.
I've seen Fogmire Fenbeast. We recapped them last season. They were in my div last season.
My pizza has arrived. Just a sec.
They were in my div last season, so I've played Rolling Red a few times. Frenzy. Okay, first of all, put your players in order. Second of all, Dwarf Pube the Great, who we've all seen before, is a Kroxigor. He's guard stand firm. Surprise. Okay, Saurus. There are 2 Blodgesaurus, and there's the Armor 10 Saurus that we've been harping on forever. Like, why does Armor 10 and why does an Armor 10 Saurus need to exist? But he's Blodgeguard, which is certainly really good. And Mighty Blow. We've got more Beer, who is a Surfing Saurus. He'd like to pick up Stand Firm, so he's not easily counter-surfable, but Strength 4, so he's slightly more safe than your standard Strength 3 surfing type player. He's also got Mighty Blow, Tackle, and Guard. But this team is just Frenzy. I mean, I guess you can surf with all of them, because we've got Snicker the Snack, Puff, and Francis Drake, who are all Frenzy Saurus. Just Frenzy, Frenzy, Frenzy. Laundry's done. Frenzy, Frenzy, Frenzy. Mighty Blow, Tackle, Guard. Mighty Blow, Tackle, Frenzy, Pro, Dauntless. Dauntless on Strength 4 for taking out those big guys. But he is Legend. Mighty Blow, Tackle, Frenzy for another one, I guess. And then it's a Sneaky Get Skink, which I hate a lot. I don't know why. Like, so there's a lot of level ups on this team that I find so weird. Like this Armor 10 is weird, the Sneaky Get is weird, the like absolute monstrous amount of Frenzy is weird, but he's done well enough to get himself to Div 2, so there you go. Can't complain too much. That'll be certainly be interesting. Like a Dauntless Saurus, like there's so many levels on this team that are just weird, and I think I'm gonna skip. It's great, but it's also strange. Like I don't know what to think about that team, and I'm gonna step away from it before Shadorra gets back and complains too much about that Lizard team.
I complain about what?
So I'm gonna step away from that before Shadorra comes back and complains about that Lizard team.
I've complained about Rolling Red's team a lot. It's my favorite thing to do.
Okay, well, I've already talked about it, but there are 4 Frenzy Sauruses. There's a Dauntless Saurus, there's a Pro Saurus, there's an Armor.
One of those Frenzy Sauruses used to be mine. Francis Drake was mine. There's Tackle. I gave him Frenzy even. Armor
10 Saurus, and there's a Sneaky Get Skink. So
yeah, it's beautiful. It's my favorite team ever. What's wrong with this team? It's great.
Basunda and Cantankerous Cretaceans.
Oh, we get to talk about 2 Lizard teams?
This one has got a lot of stats, but it's also got a lot of red pluses.
It does. It also has 2+ strength skinks, who then rewarded him for taking strength on a skink by rolling a double for...
That's
shaking my head.
That's just an MNG Kroxigor. He's got guard. That's fine. His next one will be stand firm. This will be a fun team to play against in week 1, but then they'll be pretty terrifying after they've got those MNGs back, because they're gonna be down a bunch of Saurus and like a really good skink. Then we on to the Saurus. There is block, guard, break, tackle. There is Mighty Blow, guard, tackle, piling on, break, tackle. There's block. There is block, dodge, break, tackle, guard, stand firm. There is block, tackle, Mighty Blow, break, tackle, frenzy, and there's block. The only thing that I think is even remotely controversial is maybe the piling on the Saurus. Not everybody likes to put your sort of strength 4 players on the ground, but at least he's not a guard one, so it's not too limiting in terms of removing some of your pitch control.
It's a lot of break tackle, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah. Break, tackle, dodge especially is really handy.
No, I really do. I can't quite express how much I hate piling on Saurus, but that's fine. I get some people who want to kill stuff, and this is a pretty killy Lizard team. At 3 Mighty Blow.
Yeah, it's like that's what I said. The only thing that I think people would maybe have a debate about is that piling on. I think 1 is fine. I would never go more than 1 on Saurus. And you know, some people like you would say 0 is the optimal number. But I think all the other ones are good or fine. The armor 8 on 2 of them is kind of annoying, but once you get to Div 2, there's as we've seen, there's a decent amount of claw lying around, so armor 8 is not really terrible against them, at least.
All right, and then we're gonna talk skinks.
You're gonna talk skinks, I guess.
Mickey Smith is filth. First of all, he rolls doubles on every single skink. Fuck you. So Mickey Smith is great. Obviously, he's a nearly natural one-turner. He needs 1 push, which is pretty easy to get as lizards. And it's just an excellent ball carrier when he's not one-turning. Beerhead and Cliffs of Dover both have plus strength. I don't know if I'd claim it as conventional wisdom. It's kind of a hotly contested thing. But generally speaking, when a strength 2 piece that does not have general access rolls strength, you take block. Because, I mean, at least for skinks, because without general access, the plus strength is kind of like more debatably useful compared to block. He was then rewarded both times for taking strength by getting block immediately afterwards for 2 strength 3 blodge step skinks.
Which they're going to be so annoying to knock down if they're carrying the ball. And when they're not carrying the ball, one of them is diving tackle.
Rewarded for his faith, indeed. I had the exact same problem, except it was a Croxagore, and I took block instead of plus strength on a Croxagore, and he immediately died. So I think that was punishment for my... I think my camera is also frozen.
Nuffle punishing you, is it? It very well may be.
Yeah, for like my lack of greed. Here, let's switch servers again. See if that helps.
Yeah, it tends to... It's...
Discord being a butt.
Yeah, this is entirely on Discord right now.
How about now? We good?
Yeah, it seems fine to me. Yeah, so... Skinks. What's next? Amazons, Fallen Wonders, and Fall?
Well, it is worth noting that Beerhead is movement busted and niggled, so he's a great piece for now because he's blodge, step, diving, tackle, strength 3, stunty. He's gonna die. Someone should please kill Beerhead.
Yeah. Amazons in Div 2. Fall did really well this season with the Amazons, I believe. Amazons are a cool team that you don't see this high very often. We've got
it's pretty unusual, and these are pretty lean, it must be said.
Yeah, and
so few red numbers and only 1 niggle. I'm so happy.
That's it's a thing we'll certainly see in the coming seasons with the new way that REBBL is sort of structuring itself in the tier systems. We'll see a lot more TV differences in divisions as people perform well or not well, I guess. So get used to bigger TV disparities, I believe. But we got Thrower, who's got accurate, strong arm, and movement, and Sure Hands. Sure Hands is certainly really nice to have on Agi 3. You don't have to use rerolls for it as often. And then it's also...
it's not super common to see the Thrower on Zons, it must be said. But yeah, this one's a pretty...
Yeah, if you could get Agi, it would be incredible. But for now, it's still good. Like,
I mean, he doesn't really need it with pass, strong arm, accurate. He's passing as if he's Agi 5.
Yeah, you don't need it, but it would be good. And there's not much else he really wants.
That's fair.
And it just makes it slightly more reliable, right? Those 3 pluses become 2 pluses, and the 3 plus pickup with a reroll becomes a 2 plus pickup with a reroll. And you can't give an Amazon extra arms, it turns out.
Anita has got Agi, guard, stand firm, which is an interesting skill set, like an interesting order in particular to get Agi and then go, I'm going to be the support piece. But it is nice, allows her to reposition pretty aggressively and pretty reliably.
And if they get stuck in a position they don't want to be in, they can then just dodge away with Agi 4 dodge, right? If they're stuck up against a zombie where that guard stand firm isn't really being useful, then they can get away as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not how I would have built the player probably, but it's an interesting position to take it in. July 29th, 2018, the 5th. Which is a naming convention that I feel requires some explanation. Mighty Blow attack, standard stuff. And then 2 rookies, because, Amazons die a lot.
They sure do. But the Blitzers maybe slightly less than others because they start with Blodge, which is pretty incredible. And even rookie Blitzers are good at lowish TVs because just free Blodge.
It's true, but at this stage, there's a lot of tackle floating around, so the utility of having a ton of blodge players kind of falls off pretty steep.
Then we have one tree offense, a meme that we should all be familiar with. Catcher who's picked up block and fend, and pork shorts, which is apparently named after me, which is not a thing that I expected.
It's exciting.
Was that bought from a team? Because I believe Full Metal had a team where he named all of his players after other REBBL coaches, but with like stupid names. So there was like 130 and like pork shorts instead of steak mittens, and like not a racist dinosaur, and like names like that are, and like blue metal guy. Like there were all things that were other people's names. So this might have been bought from that team. But yeah, this is named after me. So instantly my favorite player. But blodge sidestep. And then Agi 5 wrestle tackle. So yeah, leap.
That's definitely the star of that team.
Leap or strip ball, both things that they want to grab.
Well, they don't have agi access.
Do they not? I thought they had agi access.
Line women do not have agi access.
Oh.
They just have dodge.
Oh, they start with it. Okay, right. Strip ball and pray for doubles to get leap. Then we have, speaking of doubles, they've got 2 line women who have picked up guard. Blodge guard is certainly really good and worth keeping, even though it's movement 5. And then a dirty player. I like how designated DP is the one that got dirty player. Very pleasing. Well done,
Important
Fall.
to stick with your theme,
Or is this Picosaurus' team that did that? I knew it was somebody's team who did that. I think Metal did something similar for a different league, maybe. But yeah, that was not his player originally, but it's named after me. Rouge's Gallery, I don't know for like the 5th season in a row if it was meant to be Rogue's Gallery or Rouge's Gallery, but it's spelled Rouge's Gallery, so I'm going to keep saying it that way.
Like, is it a meme? Is it the reason the meme exists? It's a chicken and egg question.
Yeah, who knows? It's a question that we'll never get an answer to, and honestly, I don't want an answer. I'm going to keep it a mystery. But that's a lot of red pluses for Mr. J. Mm-hmm. They're in a good order, which pleases me. 2 bull centaurs.
I think these are all old injuries too. I remember there being a lot of injuries on this team when we covered it last season before last.
Yeah,
I think it was season before last because it was the season My Stays one. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got an Agi 3 sure hands, break tackle block guard bull centaur who's armor 8. So he's ball carrying. And then we've got another one who's more of a blitzer with block, strip ball, break tackle, mighty blow, and frenzy, and armor 8. Then Turtle, who we've all seen before and know and love, just went ham, rolled those doubles right away, not even waiting to pick up mighty blow. So we get claw, mighty blow piling on. Then he rolled doubles again to pick up some horns, and oh yeah, look at that beautiful man.
Turtle's pretty.
He's also got guard because he didn't roll another doubles, but he's also picked up a niggle, I believe, which is
a niggle, yep.
A little scary on piling on, but until then, until he dies, you are going to be strength 4 mighty blow claw piling on fools.
Well, he's thick skull, so he's still only a 42% chance to be removed. At least he's just much more likely to be cast.
Yeah. And then there's an Agi 1 Chorf, who cares, mighty blow claw, guard, stand firm. Didn't opt for the piling on, probably because he didn't have enough guard when it happened to level. It turns out guard is also pretty important, but I imagine he'll get piling on at some point because claw palm is really good.
And he's pretty close to it on both of these characters. So. And
then another one, guard first, then got doubles for claw, mighty blow stand firm, probably will get piling on soon. And then the other ones are certainly slightly more boring. Took guard and mighty blow in some combination. Haven't rolled doubles yet, so they took stand firm. And then hobos. Block tackle, guard. Happen to roll guard. Always more guard is good. Dirty player, niggle. But he's dirty player, so he'll probably get sent off. And a wrestle hobgoblin. They're hobgoblins.
Keeping around an AB7 niggle, though, it's dicey.
Keep him until you level Cobalt and get a new dirty player, and then recycle him. You'll save yourself 20k, and worst case, he's probably getting sent off fairly frequently. So you're not really. He's getting removed no matter what at some point. We have Murderer's Row by the Doc M.
Just like I have to keep mentioning it, 4 rerolls is too many rerolls for Chorsta.
Oh, we've been telling him that he's had 2 rerolls, and that's wrong.
I know,
for like
it's
4
just,
seasons.
It's just a thing. I just have to keep saying it.
When we recapped it
at this stage.
When we recapped 2 seasons ago, he had 4 rerolls, and we didn't like it. He's still doing it. We're not going to change his mind, I guess. Here's look. Welcome to REL. Have a Claw Palm Werewolf. And we've got Albert Squish.
I mean, admittedly, by Div 2, they've probably rolled enough werewolf levels to make a Claw Palm Werewolf not that ridiculous.
No, it just seems to be a meme that is self-fulfilling, and I like it. Agi Wolf is always good for scoring, receiving, dodging away from things, and he's also got dodge or blodge and tackle to make sure we knock over players if we're not blitzing with the Palm Wolf or the tackle Mighty Blow piling on movement white. So we've got a lot of killy options. You know, armor 7, we can use the white. Armor 8 or 9 or 10, use that claw. So many options. Lots of kill. I like it. Other white just took guard first. Not terribly atypical.
MG, which is nice.
Yeah, he'll get Mighty Blow or tackle in some order.
There's only 1 perm on this team. So little to recycle.
I know. There's a niggled flesh golem, but he's, block, stand firm, thick skull. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you don't recycle flesh golems, obviously.
Nope. And the other one is,
when they die.
The other one's got when you pay the flesh golem tax. But he's got the other one is Mighty Blow, so that's another Mighty Blow. And then a very boring stock ghoul who is gonna try to get himself leveled, I imagine, for block and sure hands in some order. And that's a lot of zombie levels.
Yeah, that's a lot of dirty players.
I like it. This team is so much DP.
1 to 2 more dirty players than you probably need.
I like 2 dirty players.
I don't hate 2 dirty players.
3 is maybe a bit too many. But hey, whatever. It's only 20k. They're zombies. They'll die.
The guard zombies are nice. This team is kind of lacking support skills a little bit, so
yeah, it can be difficult.
It
can be difficult to get guard or too much guard on undead and necro because you tend to only have 4 strength access players and they don't always get it right away. So rolling doubles on the zombie, as we said before, easy guard choice, and he's got it twice, and then you can take block and try to keep them around for as long as possible. Block Dauntless Tackle is strange, and I'm not entirely sure why he exists unless you happen to really love him.
I would probably fire Handsome Tim. I'd fire one of the DPs.
I'm not allowed to talk about keeping bloaty zombie players because I've got a claw block tackle rotter.
It's the dumbest thing.
I know, but it's become a meme, so it's a meme that has to continue. I'm sorry.
Right back.
And then so we got a kick zombie as well. So like all the zombies have levels, which is interesting. Like there's no rookie ones for fodder, but you can throw the block one on. You can throw one of the dirty players on. You gotta the only ones you really care about really being super safe with are these 2 guard ones to make sure your team has some more guard. Razzlestorm, another team that we've seen a bunch. Rats Against Teen Stars. Entered with we recapped him last season. It was in sort of a Div 1 shootout with Superfed, or a playoff ticket shootout with Superfed, I guess. It took Claw Palm Holland way too many levels to finally get Claw, and he still doesn't have Palm, or he still doesn't have Poe, but he's got Claw and Mighty Blow, certainly, as well as Tackle and Guard. So you can either use him as the Blitzer, or you can use him to put guard in places to assist on other things. And then we've got another one who rolled Claw first, Harry Styles, not being named after Claw, easily grabbed Claw, no problem. He's got Claw, Mighty Blow, Horns Juggernaut. He'll probably get piling on soon. And then we have a Thrower who's got Block, Extra Arms, and Accurate. Block keeps him around. Extra Arms is sort of pseudo Agi 4 for that pickups. And we've got Accurate so that he can do those throws to gutter runners as if he's Agi 4, right? So it's sort of pseudo Agi 4, those 2 skills.
Razzlestorm.
Yeah. And Pwitik we've talked about before with, Lodge, Sidestep, Guard Tackle. He's the sort of defensive, annoying gutter runner, along with Josh Clutcherson now, the Strip Ball Wrestle gutter runner. So those are your 2, along with Caleb McFallen, who is Blodge, Sidestep, Diving Tackle, and Shadowing. We've got...
I love that Pwitik is still alive. Razzlestorm, wasn't this the player you accidentally hired with a default name and then you just refused it?
He lost one of his gutter runners, the Ballhawk one in the UI, and he lost his Agi 5 Leaper in the playoffs. Sadly, but the ones he's got left are certainly still good enough. They're not Agi 5 by any stretch, but you have your wrestle strip ball, you've got a couple tackle, you've got some diving tackle and sidestep annoyingness. They're still good enough. No one-turner, disappointingly. No plus movements. Gotta roll those plus movements, man.
And no permanent injuries.
So you're happy.
Yeah.
And then some line rats.
If it wasn't a rat team.
Wrestle tackle, another good wrestle tackle piece to have. Kick, dirty player, rookie line rats. Line rats are line rats. They do line rat things. Super fed, up to Div 2A now. Many more playoff tickets for you, so maybe both of you can make it this time. With his 2100 Kislev.
Submarine this time.
Nope.
Just kidding.
Captain Stabbin is still around. We've talked about him before. Mighty Blow piling on. Block tackle juggernaut. Excellent. Milf Hunter is Blodge guard and pending a level, so we can leap guard into annoying places, and he's Blodge. Level pending.
What do you take here?
I think it depends on who you're playing next. That's a really good question, honestly. But
Prehensile tail.
Stand.
Oh, he doesn't have stand firm.
Stand firm.
Take stand firm, yeah.
It's probably a good option. Tackle.
I was looking at Come Fiesta and I got a little distracted. Yeah, definitely stand firm.
Stand firm or tackle, I guess, depending on who you're going up against. But I think stand firm. And then Come Fiesta, yeah, block, stand firm, guard tackle. So we got a stand firm, guard tackle. More support sort of blitzers that we can leap into annoying places. And then Anger is Captain Stabbin Jr. Not fitting with the team theme, but it's a block mighty blow blitzer. Then we got the catchers. Team Squirt is movement 8, and he is catch, block, sidestep. Catch and a diving catch do stack in like the sort of plus, like you get to reroll and +1 from accurate passes. Stolen XP is along with 51 viewers. So welcome, Stolen XP, folks. We are doing div review things, so this very well may not be entirely interesting to most of you, but if you like...
That was a good qualifier. Very well may not be totally interesting.
You're welcome. But if you're not... if you happen to like my sort of style, feel free to stick around, because I do stream actual Blood Bowl matches too, but this is not an actual Blood Bowl match.
Team Squirt is nice because it gives him the one-turn opportunity, and he's, you know, he often will use it. So
but he's also he's an incredible 2-turn option as well, because he's movement 8 and catch, diving catch, and agi 4. So that's a very easy like catch chance if you're trying to 2-turn with him. Even if the pass happens to like scatter or whatever, you have the diving catch ability and he's catch to re-roll it with agi 4. It's pretty cool. There are actual Steak Mittens. I can show you them. These are my Steak Mittens. They're oven mitts with steaks on them, and my cat likes to lie on them because I keep them on my desk and they're soft and comfy. Lust Mortar, welcome along. Where were we? Money Talks is another catcher. He's more guard. So much guard on this Kislev team, which is great because you can leap guard into annoying places. Blodge, kick, sidestep. And then another guard and Blodge, sidestep. Like, some very annoying catchers here. This one is movement 6, unfortunately, but I think he's still probably going to be fine.
Toad of Toad Hall has unfortunately eaten a movement bust and a niggle. So.
Rick Reckless is also along now. Thank you. I don't have those, Sky Blue Monty, I'm sorry. I have Steak Mittens, I have a cat somewhere, I have a sword, and I have beer. Those are good things.
Oh, I want beer. HD Love, I think Superfed often says is kind of the star of this show, surprisingly. The plus strength wrestle lineman is capable of just hopping in and getting a 2-die on most ball carriers.
Yeah.
Is like primary ball hawk and does a lot of really good work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can get strip ball and tackle are probably good levels for him, but yeah, with like he's easily just the leap in 2-die threat. You can take away those assists, and if we have to, we can leap in guard as well if there's guard on the cage corners to make sure it remains as a 2-die. All kinds of follows. Dr. Klopp, appreciate it. In the VIP is guard, or not guard, he's grab and wrestle. Help with one turns and stuff mostly. Some rookie linemen. Yeah, some of these do not fit with the theme, but that's probably because they came from the marketplace.
And then we have the first Nurgle team of Div 2A, and it has a lot of tentacles. I can see from the preview.
I like it. Can't wait till we see that match. The leap versus a billion tentacles. That'll be entertaining.
Well, it's mostly on Strength 4, and Strength 4 versus Strength 3 tentacle. Tentacles is something like a 2+.
I'm too lazy to work that out, but it's Strength 4 tentacles isn't that incredible because of the average player being Strength 3. But this beast has block. He's movement busted, but he has block. But
yeah, I mean, the movement bust is incredibly unfortunate to suffer on a beast, but yeah, it's hard to pass up a block guard.
Yeah, you put him in an annoying place where the tentacles can do work, and then you probably don't move him very much from that point.
Yeah, you hope he gets stand firm next to make him a little bit more reliable, but
the tents will be really good against Strength 2 things, right? You have 3.
It's still not really good. I think when there's a 2 strength difference, it's something like a 70% chance to get out, something like that. I mean, it's definitely a roll, and it's an extra thing they can fail. But
it doesn't turn over, but it's like it's like other things.
3 strength is when you get into like real serious numbers. But
it's like a lot of things on Nurgle though, where like, you know, disturbing presence and foul appearance aren't something that you bank on, but they're there and they're nice. Sometimes they fail disturbing presence and it ruins their day. Sometimes they fail tentacles, even if it's not that likely.
Am I underestimating tentacles? I thought it was worse than that. But I have to go look. I don't know off the top of my head.
And you know, there's an argument to be had that like maybe guard would have been more useful on horny necro cricket than tentacles, but tentacles is always something to consider on Nurgle warriors. It's never. It just turns out you need a lot of skills on Nurgle warriors, so you don't often see it until like close to legend, and they don't always last that long. It just turns out that Atomics has taken it first, which I think is a cool way to do it. So I'm excited to see what this team does. Speaking of those Nurgle warriors, we've got Block, Claw, Mighty Blow, Tackle, Piling On. Piling On is not something you always see on Nurgle warriors either. Depends on your philosophy. Some people like it. I don't particularly, because I don't really want to put my slow Strength 4 guys on the floor. But at least he doesn't have guard, so you probably never want to take guard since he's taken Piling On. And Disturbing Presence also works from the floor, so you're not giving that up if you do pile on. Mighty Blow, Claw, Block, Tackle, Guard. Another mix, you know, Stand Firm is probably his legend positional there. Or legend skill, I should say. And then Block Tentacles, Block Mighty Blow, Guard Tentacles. These guys are also going to grab Stand Firm. They're going to pray for strength and dodge. Yeah, if you don't get Claw Palm in your Pestigors, it's probably not bad to grab it on a Nurgle warrior. You need it somewhere, and you certainly don't have a killer Pestigor, so you need, as Nurgle, it's hard to win without removals sometimes, so making sure you have the maximum removal chance is a good option, and if you don't have it on Pestigors, well, you gotta get it somewhere. Pestigor with Strength and Agi and Wrestle is interesting. Honestly, you probably...
Is this what we call it, a vampire?
I think you're supposed to.
I think we're categorically required.
That's kind of unfortunate. You would have loved him. Like, I see what you're doing. Like, you get Agi when you already had your ball carrier, and then you take Wrestle because he's going to be like your dodge in sort of ball hawk type player. Then you get Strength, excellent, and then you realize that if you had Agi Strength and like Sure Hands block dodge, he'd be the best ball carrier in the universe.
I mean, he's still one of the best ball hawks in the universe. I mean, you get 2 heads or tackle. You know, you can even cage dive with him semi reliably. I wouldn't necessarily throw a casual. What is that, 4+?
No, he's really good. I'm just saying, like, if you could build a Pestigor, you'd be like plus Agi, or build a ball carrying Pestigor, you'd be like plus Agi, plus Strength, Sure Hands, block dodge, plus movement maybe. Like if you could pick the skills, like that's really good.
I take leap. I take leap on a double for sure.
Yep, he's going to be a really good ball hawk. Leap is a good option. Tackle and strip ball are things that are going to happen. Dodge is a thing that'll probably happen.
But I don't think you're sad to have a sacker that's Strength 4 Agi 4 either.
That wasn't my point. My point is not that you're sad to have him. My point is you'd be happier if that was your ball carrier. But you already have a ball carrier who's really good.
My point is that you're dumb.
That's not a good point. And we have a ball. We already have a ball carrier anyway with Blodge, Sure Hands, extra arms, and 2 heads. The stereotypical pseudo Agi 4 Pestigor.
Yep, the super standard. I didn't quite roll Agi, but did get dodge, which is nice.
Yep.
Certainly.
Then rookie Pestigor, unfortunately. We really need the sort of claw Mighty Blow piling on Pestigor, so I would be really unsurprised to just see him straight up go Mighty Blow first to try to catch up in some levels. Ornan will go that way with Mighty Blow block. He'll get claw next, and then either tackle or piling on, depending on how Atomics is feeling, or against depending on what his opponents are like. And then we have an Agi block kickoff return Rodder, which is kind of funny. I mean, he's a ball carrier. They're moving 5 Agi 4 kickoff return to make up for that movement. He's kind of a ball carrier, but you have a better one in Ornan. But I guess if you're when you're this high TV and you're going up against potential wizards a lot, do we have a wizard stadium? That should be a thing I should check. No, security gate. But if you're going up against lightning bolts a lot, having 2 players who can pick up the ball easily is a good option.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And you can even look to retire Ornan original at some point. You know, and you've got Ornan Water Closet coming in as a killer. So he's definitely lacking in the killer Pestigor option, but he said he lost a bunch of them, so I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where that... A 1930 10-player team. Welcome to Nurgle.
Yep, it happens.
And then Professor Chaos, another familiar face, who says his team has gotten more interesting. Let's see.
I mean,
it has gotten a bit, yeah.
So before I look at it, yes, we said they were boring orcs very often, but it turns out boring orcs are really good for a reason.
It turns out you said this literally every time we called them boring orcs.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. Well, this is the first review of a new season. Not everybody has seen my hot takes from previous seasons. They've got to clarify this at least the first time.
It's a lukewarm take now at best.
Yeah, plus strength on a black orc, and all the rest are block guard. This is sort of the way that I would see black orcs being built. Next will be stand firm, and then maybe even then Mighty Blow, compared to what we saw on the orc team previously.
You do like
took it before.
half and half. You might even do like 2 stand firm, 1 tackle, 1 Mighty Blow, or something like that. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I think a little bit of diversity once you get into the level 3 range or level 4 range is nice.
But this is what you tend to see on black orcs. You don't take it as early as we saw on the previous black orc team or orc team. Blitzers, we've got the killer one, the ever-present Mighty Blow piling on tackle pro juggernaut orc blitzer. We can't take claw, so we take pro. Then we have a support blitzer who's gone blodge guard stand firm tackle. Excellent support piece. Really good to get that blodge firm in with wherever you need guard, and he's pretty hard to shift. And in a similar vein, we've got strength Mighty Blow guard tackle. He can kind of do both. He can both blitz and be an annoying to shift guard piece because he's strength 4. And then another guard, so a lot of guard, which is always really good. And then the orc thrower who's gone blodge, kickoff, return, fend. Basically all you want on a thrower, unless you roll Agi. But
I mean, you want to roll Agi or you retire it, I guess. But you don't have a natural blitzer. Like, you didn't get a blitzer that rolled Agi, so you're less inclined to retire the thrower.
Yeah, he's got the things you want on an orc thrower, which is block, fend, kickoff, return. But he's also got dodge, which makes him slightly better. And now it's kind of like, hey, maybe if we could get Agi, it'd be really good. But at some point, it becomes a little bloaty. The problem is he doesn't have all of his blitzers have defined roles already. None of them are sort of ball carriers, so you're probably going to continue. Like, I don't think I would get rid of him for now.
No, I agree.
Because you're going to be carrying, like, what you're going to do with him a lot, you just don't want to score anymore on him, I guess. You're going to ball carry on him all the way up the field while your blitzers run around and punch stuff and do guard supporty things, and then when you're in scoring range, you hand off to a blitzer and score. You just don't want more SPP on him. But he's going to be really good to hold the ball while you move up the field, to let your blitzers do other things, because they kind of have defined jobs already. And then, hey, look, 3 orc linemen to go on the line. Surprise! You
were just talking about that level. It's either going to be wrestle tackle or wrestle fend. I think there's merit in both.
It depends on what you use him for. I mean, if you pick up another, if you're going to pick up another lineman to have like more of a bench, then it changes. But if his job is literally just to be a line fodder orc because he's wrestled, then I think fend is probably the way to go. It's more likely to keep him alive, and it frees him up pretty reliably on the line.
Yeah, I don't hate two bench on an orc team. I
Um,
don't like it as much without a DP though.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It gives you the DP option. So if he happened, I would probably stay at 3. And if one of these guys leveled up from MVPs or whatever, then you buy another one to be the new line fodder orc, and then you give him DP, and now you have 2 bench. You still have 3 line fodder orcs, and you have a DP one.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, but you leave it the way it is for now. And I would probably do Fend on that lineman. You have 3 tackle elsewhere, and he's going to go on the line all the time. And
yeah, so it's not like he's going to be a credible sacker. Also, at movement 5, he was never going to be a credible sacker. So
yeah, I mean, maybe wait to see what your first game is like. But I think you've got enough tackle to deal with like the errant dodge players. If you're playing like Amazons, maybe not. And there is an Amazon in your div, but for the vast majority of teams, I think 3 tackle is probably good enough. And then you just go Fend on him. It's just an extra way to keep him alive, certainly. Like Wrestle Fend on the line is annoying for the attacking team. And since we have no matches scheduled, we can't do any predictions, and we can't do any match like results or whatever.
but that start competition button is just sitting there taunting me.
I don't have it. I'm not on the board.
Learn to, I don't know, flex your admin muscles or something.
Well, I'm not a REBBL admin, so...
That's true. I mean, neither am I, but I have the button.
Anyway, let's...
I would like to not just instantly be kicked from the league. Thanks, Razzlestorm.
So let's pull ourselves back up to the screen here. This has been the first week, the preview, week 1, week 0, however you want to call it, of Season 11, Div 1 and 2A. Like we said at the start, if you missed it, we are debating changing sort of the format that we do this in, but that hasn't been finalized yet. One thing we did want to pose to you, though, is that currently this is just like Steakmittens and Shadorra review REL 1 and 2A, and we'd love to like brand ourselves slightly better. So if you guys have any, we're accepting suggestions for show names. If you have any cool suggestions for what you think our show should be titled, we will certainly consider them. Answers on a postcard, or in Twitch chat, or in PM to one of us, and he is fine.
Smoke signals.
However you want to do it.
SteakDora, show you the world. Beautiful.
I can show you the world. So yeah, there may be some format changes coming. Depends on how busy I am, really, because I have to do a lot of things if I want to change some format stuff. And turns out I have a real life and a lot of other hobbies that I've committed time to, and it's difficult to find time for things.
Zero evidence of this.
Fair enough. Well, you don't live with me. It's hard to see. The Wonder Twin Power Hour.
Are you asking me to move in with you?
If you want, sure. Come back to Nova Scotia. That's fine. But so next week, what we'll probably do is take a look at one game from each div instead of reviewing the teams in depth. Turns out teams don't often change very quickly week to week, so we don't look at the full team every week. Next week, we'll look at results. We will do some predictions for the week coming and keep track of who is winning in terms of predictions. I believe last season you won, but I lost track of my scores. To be fair, I think you won entirely because I predicted Gypsy Prince to win literally every week just because I wanted to like promote the ogres. But it was fun. If you feel like your match was particularly interesting, whether it be because it was funny or memey or just a good example of good play or some crazy things happened in it or it was really close, feel free to PM one of us and we will look at it during the show if we like your suggestion. If not, we'll sort of pick arbitrarily.
Yeah, and we don't promise it'll be fun. Sometimes we get into a match that we think looks cool based on the score line and the stats cards, but it's boring and it's all your fault and we hate you.
Yep. And once again, we are your div recappers, so feel free to PM us when you have matches scheduled, and I'll do my best to get a hold of them, although my streaming time is fairly limited sometimes, so it may be difficult for me to cover all of them.
I believe ArchXL said he was planning on covering every single Div 1 game.
Oh, excellent.
Which is a tall order. No?
No, he is not.
Oh, to yourself. I'm sorry. But also ArchXL said he would do that. ArchXL definitely 100% said he's going to stream every
Do all elf coaches look the same to you?
I mean, you all are just brains in a vat. I have made RHXL a little upset.
So this is probably going to... Is this going to be a regular time, or are we going to... We're unsure on that right now.
Tuesdays are pretty good for me, because I've moved some stuff around. You have stream... Like, I would basically need to get off this early every time, though, right? Because you have raid in 8 months.
Sure do. All right, so I guess that is currently undecided as for next week. This is a bit of a free-form preview show. Things will probably change in the coming weeks, but I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again sometime next week after the first matches have happened. This will be up on my YouTube, which is just Steak Mittens. If you search for it, I'll edit it, cut out the bits of us talking about garbage, and then so the whole show, and then upload it to YouTube. That should be up by Thursday if you missed the parts you cared about. And there's also the Twitch VOD. So until next time, I've been Steak Mittens,
And I'm Shadorra.
and we will see you then.